welcome back to the Blood Prison Shakedown. This edition, special guest this time, we have Pappy and Marilyn from Nightmare Cleveland. How you guys doing today?
Good, man. Good to see you.
Yeah?
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Did you guys find the place okay?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
My GPS took us like the backwoods way, but yeah, we got here fine.
All right, sweet. Nightmare Cleveland, how's it going up there?
Great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I know you guys are kind of new to the crew, newish for this year, so I was wondering how you guys were adapting.
You know, it's really a power squad up there, so we were taken back immediately by everybody when we came in. We tried to come out last year on a couple nights that we weren't booked somewhere else, get a feel for the place. Because we've been doing a lot of travel acting, and we wanted to be back in Cleveland, where we're from.
Okay.
And so I was like,
I was
dip our toes in.
I was gonna ask you about that because you know, I tell everybody, because I met you guys a couple years ago at the they did like a, I want to say it was a was not the Cleveland Haunt Club, but it might have been the Ohio.
Oh yeah, the Ohio Haunters Association.
Yeah, they had a meeting here and they reached out. I was like, yeah, absolutely, we'll do it up in the East. And I met you guys there. That was the first time I met you.
Right.
And I don't remember talking in length, but I remember, oh yeah, hey, nice to meet you and everything. But that's all I really knew of you guys, other than our small interactions, like at Trans World and stuff like that. So I creeped you guys out on your social medias, like I do everybody else. That's what they say. It's like I'm creeping you on Instagram or Facebook, and I'm like, so that's just what I'm calling it.
You do your
really
homework.
Creeping.
Yeah.
I wasn't like, oh, Pappy.
Yeah.
But I was looking at, and your guys' list of like the places you've been. Like working is, it's extensive.
Yeah, it's getting there.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you guys kind of about stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, Pappy and Marilyn both worked at Eloise up in Michigan.
Right.
So there's some craziness going on up there from what I hear.
Yeah.
Musical
chairs going on up there for management. Yeah.
That's weird when that happens because,
definitely.
The crew doesn't know what to do, I think. You know what I mean? Like, who are we with here?
It's almost like dealing with a divorced family.
Yeah.
You don't know which parent you want to go with, so you're kind of conflicted until you establish, like, okay, I feel good going either one way or the other. So my heart goes out to those guys that are making that decision now, because I know it's not easy.
No, it can't be.
Yeah. Yeah, even with us leaving, we went out. We've actually been out there twice since then, just to show the staff that we still support them. It's just, it's all business,
So, okay, I'm just going to roll through some of the things I had here, which was Eloise, Basement of the Dead. You guys both worked there, yes?
Yeah.
Correct.
Disturbia.
Yep.
Hudson Haunted House, that's here in Ohio, right?
Yeah.
How did you guys, I mean, where did that come from? Like, how did you guys travel to all those different haunts? I mean, is it something like, we're going to work here a couple of years, and we might move on, work somewhere else, or is it just the opportunity came when it came?
I think that was, especially the Chicago, that was just an opportunity. I had met a friend on online, and he was working at Basement of the Dead and Disturbia, and he was from Michigan.
Yeah.
And he told us to come check that place out for the MHC bus tour 2022, 21. And he's like, reach out to the Senecers, see about working it. So we jumped on when we worked that bus tour. I was like, wow, we got to do a season here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just
I've heard nothing
incredible.
but good about Basement of the Dead.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
The Senecers started our travel acting. We weren't travel actors until we decided to leave a particular haunt we were with. For no particular reason, we just kind of were like, we don't see the growth. So we just made the decision of, let's go check out what else might be out there.
Yeah.
And we landed at Basement of the Dead and Disturbia, through a mutual friend, checked it out for the MHC bus tour, and we were like, wow. This is what's out there. This is what's on the other side. It's amazing,
I've gotten actors that way too. Like we've had a couple bus tours here, not many, but like when we had that convention here through the Ohio Haunter Association pre-COVID.
I remember that 2019. You guys did it. I wish you guys would do it again.
I got a few actors from that. They were just like, we had such a good time working. I was like, yeah. I mean, I always tell them, it's like, look, as long as you're free and clear, because I don't want to get that label of me plucking actors from other haunts, but that happens a lot, where people just see something, they're like, well, check this out.
Right.
Yeah, you see something you like, and you're like, dude, I want to work this room, or I want to work this queue line or whatever, and people want to check it out. So you guys working at all these other places, did do you got? I know you do makeup.
Yeah.
Like I know you were doing makeup at you're like the head guy at Nightmare right now, correct?
Correct.
And you're like the cast manager.
Yeah, I do the cast managing and costuming. Actually, both of us kind of like tag team the costuming right now.
So what got you? I mean, where did you start doing makeup at? Like, how did you get into that?
I just started doing makeup to do my own. Mm-hmm. A lot of the haunts that when we start at these lower level haunts, it's like I wanted to have control over my character and how I wanted to look and everything. So I started doing my own makeup, and then it just started progressing. When we got out to Chicago, that was really the first time we saw airbrushing. Mm-hmm. And Emma Von Zombie out there was really giving me a lot of tips on what she uses and what she does, and I was watching her working, and it was like, wow, I really want to get into that, because I was still doing, the old school, grease paints and brushes and whatnot.
Yep. That's how we started here.
Yeah.
Until Matt came in, and then he's like, airbrush, man, is the way to do it. And we did it, and I was just like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Do you do the makeup too?
No, I'm not good. I have done my makeup in the past. Before we were together, I would do like just grease paint and quick little doll looks. I try to keep it simple because I can't do anything intricate. These guys that are doing the neck bones and everything, it's like, wow, that's incredible.
So you just have makeup applied rather than...
Correct,
There you go.
Yeah.
So how long you been doing that then, makeup-wise?
Last year was actually my first time doing it for a haunt.
Last year?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, besides that, it's just been doing my own makeup.
Oh, I get you. So you've been doing it for a minute, but that's not much on other people.
Right, and that was my big thing. Last year's MHC 2023, I was doing makeup for the Zombie Walk, and that was the first time I've done makeup on other people, was for that event. And it was like, that was nerve-wracking.
Was that a switch, like, okay, this way now?
Oh, yeah. When I get in people's personal business, it's like, ooh.
Yeah. So what about doing makeup on people? Do you like, what do you like about that? Do you like seeing the finished product when you're done?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I really like seeing how just the layering, the colors, how you can really... Mm-hmm. I did a lot of prosthetics before, and so to see the changes you can make in someone's face just by layering colors and everything really nicely, I was like, wow, that's really cool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember the Widow was up there one night with Brian, and she had saw some of this, because she's a phenomenal makeup artist.
Oh, yeah.
And she saw some things you were doing. She calls me up. She's like, I want some of this stuff. Can we get it? And I'm like, yeah, if that's what you want.
Right.
And she was like, yeah. And I was like, where do you want to get this? Well, Pappy was using it. And I was like, okay.
She's the best.
Yeah. No, she's great.
Yeah, I don't think she gives herself enough credit for what she does on makeup.
Yeah, she's, relatively new. But a few years now she's been doing it, but she just picked it up so fast.
Right.
With the airbrushing, and, Matt's taught her, and, it's been a good process doing that, and she's basically been doing makeup, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 seasons now.
Right on.
So she's really got the hang of it, and she's got a good eye and imagination for what she wants to do to people. And when they started doing the appliances, then she really was just like, oh my God. And we're like, bro, you want to speed up a little bit?
Right.
Other people. You know what I mean? But she did this, like, these crazy appliances. It was really cool. She had a lot of fun with it. So other haunts you guys have worked at. Marilyn, you says Hollywood Horror. Is that Universal?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's all the way down in Australia.
Okay.
That's a whole,
let's hear about that.
Exclusive haunt experience.
This is all her.
Okay.
So way back, I auditioned for this specific haunt twice. Mm-hmm. The auditions alone are a very long process. It was a weekend process. It was a Friday through Sunday. So imagine picking up and spending the night. You drive out to Sandusky, Ohio to Haunted Hydro. I met Beth and Crazy Bob.
Yeah, Bob Turner.
And we, the audition process, we would wake up at 8 a.m., get in costume, character, full-blown, everything. And then you would stand outside in Crazy Bob's queue line, barking and hawking nobody. We had no crowd. So, Crazy Bob couldn't set that tone for us, but he would at least have his staff kind of come through and, mingle with us so that we could get that interaction. Hollywood Horrors, though, that was all the way down in Australia. So the process was I traveled from Brisbane, Adelaide, and Melbourne. I think we spent 10 days per show. And
10 days per stop?
Yeah. Per city we were in.
A month?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Just about, well, it was like a month and a half, almost 2 months, butting into our like spooky season. So when I first landed too, like I got off the plane and our boss calls us and he's like, all right, go to this fairgrounds, because it's basically like the Ohio State Fair is what they were sending us to. I was a traveling carny, traveling haunter.
Yeah.
But yeah, we would go, we still have our luggage and everything. And he's like, yeah, come to the fairgrounds. And we're like, wait, what? Let's check into the hotel. Yeah. Let's do, something to relax for a minute. It was just get straight to work.
Wow. No worries about sleeping. You'll get to do that later, right?
Yeah.
Come on over.
Yeah. It was different because Halloween doesn't exist in Australia like it does here. Yeah. So people were easy to scare. Yeah, and people,
that's always fun.
Yeah. People were also jerks because they didn't understand it either, though.
Yeah.
So, like, they would come in the queue line and be standing in front of us and harassing us. And it's like, oh, gosh, like, I'm stuck here with you until you move on.
That's funny.
So, but, I mean, one of the best experiences of my life. I mean, our cast was small, but when I was down there, we did it all, like, managing and makeup, costuming.
Yeah. So when was that? When did you do that?
In 2015. So I was only 22 years old when I got on a plane for the first time and went out of the country for the first time. All the way,
Go home, I guess.
Yeah, all the way to Australia.
Damn. That was your first flight?
Yeah, I still have my wings. I told my flight attendant, I'm like, I'm scared. Like, terrified. I'm the biggest baby in the world. Like, listen, I see a spider and I'm screaming. I'm gone.
Well... Yeah, but your first flight, so you flew from where? From
it was
Ohio?
Yeah, Cleveland International to Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia.
Georgia?
Which I tried to stop and go to Netherworld, and I couldn't make that happen.
Yeah.
I was begging everybody with us. I was like, please, come on. Oh, and that's another thing. I was sent with a stranger. So this guy I met for the first time, Rich, we were both chosen to go. So through the audition process, Beth and Crazy Bob select 3 people. Typically what I've seen, and I'm not sure if this is the reason, but I would assume 2 men for the build and then a female kind of like with the organization. That's kind of what I've seen them do.
Okay.
Whether or not that's, how they chose people, I don't know. But yeah, so that was my first time meeting this guy, Rich, who was going to work at Hollywood Horrors with me. So we got on a plane, went to Atlanta, then to LAX, and on an international 12-hour flight to Australia.
See, like a flight, your first one, like to Atlanta, that's nothing. Even though that flight in particular was the worst flight I've ever been on in my life to this day.
Yeah.
For many reasons. But for the first time, I've flown many times. I don't know how many times I've flown. Many. But it's like, I don't want to fly over the ocean. Right. I have this I'm like, dude, if we ever go overseas, I'm going to need like a sedative, one of those things that you just eat one, you're out, and you wake up, and you're like, oh, we're here?
Yep.
Sweet. Because I just, the thought of flying over the ocean just freaks me the fuck out, man. I just can't.
Right.
So the first time, I probably would have been like, fuck that, I ain't going.
Right.
About the rip.
Yeah. No, that would have been, that would have been a hard thing for me. So a 12-hour flight. So do you just have a few drinks?
Oh, I tried to sleep as much as possible on the flight. I was like, oh no, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And like I was asking everyone, I'm like, how safe is this? I don't know. It was my first flight and I was 22. I was just leaving mom and dad for the first time. So I was petrified. Yeah. And I'm with a stranger. I'm like, I don't know if I can trust you. And we're going to another country together.
That is true. Were there other like Americans there?
So there was one person already in Australia who was a part of our crew. Will Morelli, he did a lot of like acting with these guys. Excuse me, I don't want to cough.
It's all right.
Sorry. He did a lot of acting down in Australia with these guys. Mm-hmm. So he was already there. I remember Beth and Bob saying, make sure he comes home. He keeps staying, and he did. He just loved it so much. He didn't want to leave.
Bring him
so,
back. Sure
all of us are like, he doesn't want to leave. What do we do? So we left him again. He's, for all I know, I think he is living there now. Like, he got married to the girl that was with him, and that he's living there. So, I'm happy for him.
Gig, that's what you want to do. So, getting into haunted attractions, let me ask you about what got you there. Like, what, for instance, like, what was the first one you ever went to? The first one you ever like walked through.
First one I ever went through was Nightmare Painesville. out at the Lake County Fairgrounds.
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
Yeah. So then I applied to work there the next year. You had to be 16 to work there, and I think I was 13.
Oh, yeah.
And so I lied on my application, said that I was 16, and as soon as I walked through the door, we're pretty sure it was Killer Katie just looked at me, and I had the biggest baby face, like, absolutely not. Like, you're not fooling anybody.
Yeah. That's good, though. A good try.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I gave it hell.
What about you? What was the first one you went through?
I'm pretty sure it was Akron Haunted Schoolhouse in Akron, Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was...
That's a good first start.
Yeah. And that's a classic haunt, you know. They've got some incredible scenes. And that was before John Eslich took over. You know, I was a little kid at the time, so he's just took that and made it even better.
Yeah, for sure. So, and it says here you worked there, yeah?
Oh, yeah, we both did, yeah.
Both of you did?
Yeah.
What was that like? Before John took it over?
No, we were there.
When John?
Yeah, after the transition.
How was that?
That was awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah, they're like makeup setup and everything there. Their costuming room.
Yeah.
Massive.
Yeah.
They probably have the largest costuming section I've seen at any haunt.
Very cool.
Although Nightmare Cleveland's coming up with a quick second here because our costuming room's quickly growing.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And, I mean, working with like Dave. I know
Dave Shaw?
Yeah. He's good people. I love Dave.
Yeah, so, I had him on. He was great. Like, I love hanging out with that dude at Transworld. He's just so funny.
Right.
You know what I mean? The dude just cracks me up.
Yep.
He does these things, and I don't think he means to do it, but I'm like, oh my God, you look like, what do we call him? Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
You know, there's a Seth, dude, you look like Seth Rogen. He's like, yeah, I know. Everyone tells me.
I get it.
Yeah. And I'm like, it's just so funny because like it almost like he picks up his mannerisms.
Right.
You know? I'm like, you're trying to do that, ain't you? He's like, what are you talking about? That's good stuff. That guy's great. See, how long did you work there?
Honestly, we've just popped in there and did like guest acting there a couple weekends here and there. And that was always my big thing was if somebody was open when the haunt that I was working for wasn't, I had to go.
Yeah.
Like I want to work as much as possible. And
so what did you so if you went through the Akron Schoolhouse, you went through the Nightmare at Painesville, when did you actually get to work at a haunt?
I actually, when I found out I was too young to work at a haunt, I started playing in bands and bars because bars would let me in, but haunts wouldn't.
How ironic! Right.
Yeah. So I did that for a good stretch. So then I didn't actually work at a haunt until I was 27. So 2017. Yeah, a huge gap. And
well, you guys don't look your age. I'm gonna both tell you that now. When you said when you were 27, I'm like, I figured you for about 25, maybe,
all right,
25, 24.
I'll take it. Yeah.
That'll serve you well later.
Right.
In life, trust me. Yeah.
Yeah, the baby face carries on.
For sure.
But the guy that owns the gym I work out at, me and him became close friends, and he bought a water park down the street from me. Okay. And he's like, we're going to try and do a Halloween event. I'd like it if you could come on board, give it a hand. I was doing like home haunts, nothing major. And I said, yeah, I'll come out.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
What about Marilyn? Where'd she work the first time?
So that was way back in 2008 at Pandora's Box on Tyler Boulevard in Mentor, Ohio. It was a one and done.
Yeah,
they opened for 2008 and then no more.
Pandora's Box.
Yeah.
Interesting name.
Some people are probably like, great haunt. Some people, it's like kind of one of those 50-50. You either love it or you hated it. There was no in between, but that was like my spark. And ever since, the only year I didn't work in a haunted house in the last 16 years was 2017, your first year at Pioneer. I took that year off. I just came home from Australia in 2015. I worked 2016 somewhere small, and I was like, okay, I think maybe I'm kind of done. And then next thing you know, someone's calling me, come to this haunt, come work at Nightmare at Pioneer. And I was like, okay. It took nothing to suck me right back in.
Haunted attraction, I'm telling you what, haunted houses, attractions, whatever you want to call them, when you work at one for the first time, it's almost like, oh shit, what have I been doing? Right. This is awesome. Right. You know what I mean? I worked over in Crestline at the prop shop, okay? Yep. And then when we decided to do a haunted attraction, I was like, oh, this will be cool, because we made stuff for haunted attractions. Right. We never actually ran our own. I'm like, yeah, this will be fun. So they bought an extra building for it and everything, and we put it up. And that first year, I was just like, this is fun. Right. And I didn't act or anything like that. I just did marketing. I ran a ticket booth. stuff like that with other people, you know what I mean? But it was like, man, this is so much fun.
Right.
I could really, really enjoy like doing this for a long time.
Right.
It
shocks me when I'll bring some of my friends out to work for a night, like especially when we were at Nightmare Pioneer.
Yeah.
We were always so short staffed that like I'd be like, what are you doing this weekend? I could throw you some cash. It would shock me when they would come out and be like, all right, fun. I don't know if it's my thing though.
Yeah.
And it's like,
what is wrong with you? Yeah.
What do you mean it's not your thing?
Right.
Make it your thing.
Right.
No, because there's those people that when you see, like even when we're like interview process, it's just like, someone will come in, they'll do the interview and leave, and we'll be like, I don't think they're gonna make it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because like here it's we're big, so it's right. Like we get tons of people, and it's like it can be hectic for an actor especially. You know what I mean? And they're just the ones, but then you get surprised. I had this one girl come in, and we were like, just like, well, that was a waste of time. She ain't gonna make 2 days. Still with us.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? It's come out of her shell like just amazingly. And it's just like, and now she's almost like territorial about things, where she's just like,
that's mine.
I want to be, that's my spot. You know what I mean? So it's just like, all right, well, so you can never tell. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Were you guys nervous the first time out on the floor?
I personally wasn't, because again, with doing like the home haunts and doing the bands and everything, I was kind of used to the idea of like performance arts and everything. Yeah. So it felt different because it was a little out of my element.
Yeah.
But. I felt pretty all right with it.
I'm the opposite. Him and I are yin and yang. Yeah, I'm always nervous. Doesn't matter what it is. Opening night of the haunt, I'm going to be like, I'm so nervous. Like, it doesn't matter. I work myself up and then
You know what I think is
get
funny?
to myself.
Yeah, are theater actors. I love it when a theater actor comes to a haunted house to work. Well, I've been doing theater for 5 years. I'm like, that's amazing.
Right.
That's great.
This
you
is
gotta
different.
realize that it's not the same.
Right.
You know what I mean? Your audience is right here.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, but a lot of them, like, they'll make it and they'll be fine. But some just like, no, this ain't for me.
The audience is heckling you back.
Getting right in your face or punching you in the stomach.
Right,
you know what I mean? So, there's that. That's my thing. When I act, I always I've made it a goal to get a complaint. Right? Because I'm like, if I get a complaint and I get called up front, because they're going to call for me.
Right.
So it's just like, I just get the complaint, hey, we got someone up front needs to talk to the manager. I'll be like, all right, I'll be right there. And I just roll up and be like, but it hasn't happened yet. So it's just one of those things where you're like, you tell everybody, don't do this, we don't do this, this is how this works. And then you just go, balls out for everything and no one says anything to you.
Right.
And you're just like, that sucks. Right? I want to have that experience of rolling up and going, we need to speak to the manager. Here I am. Wait a minute. You're the motherfucker I'm complaining about.
I was on the scene.
Yeah. I was there. I saw everything.
Right.
Can confirm.
Guilty.
Yeah.
Right.
Hasn't happened yet. So, Nightmare Cleveland came onto the scene, I think, last year was their second season?
Yes, 2022.
Going into our third,
Yeah, they're going into season 3, and it was like, when they first opened, and Brian went up there, Brian Dembski.
Right.
Of course, we had to go up and check it out, and we were just like, holy shit. I mean, it was next level. It was great. So how has it been treating you guys? Like, I mean, I know you doing the costumes and acting, right? You're doing
Correct.
the makeup.
Yep.
How has it been going up there as far as like off-season stuff?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I can't imagine like a better group, because everybody kind of has their role, and I think that's really what's improved this year too. Is there was a couple of people trying to fill multiple roles and getting a little overworked. So now that everybody has their lane, you're really seeing a lot of people excel.
Sweet.
In their
That's
sweet
great.
spot. Yeah,
That's
for
great.
sure.
So
Same.
I'm gonna ask. So what happened with Rick up there? What's going on? Everyone's talking about it.
Man, his office looks different now. I can say.
It looks so much better.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I understand.
Yeah.
It's a awkward situation,
Yep.
and because I know Rick and I know everybody. I know Vaughn and Brian and Drake. I know everybody up there and Kevin. So it's like I get a lot of questions too when stuff, not just there, but like when that stuff happens, and I'm just like, I don't know, man. I have no idea. It's like none of my business. You know, I'm cool with everybody. That's what I try to do is like, I just try to be cool with everyone.
That's about where we're at with the situation.
It's hard though, isn't it?
We are there because he randomly reached out one night and was like, hey, we love working haunted houses. Can we come work for you guys? And of course Rick was like, actually, we want more people. Right. So, I mean, he was the first person we spoke to. So he's just as much as a part of it as anyone else in our eyes. But I don't disagree with the management changes, and I'll plead the fifth after that.
Yeah. Well, you got to roll with what you got to roll with.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a decision above our heads. So
exactly. Eloise, you guys were at Eloise last year. There were some things that happened.
Yep.
And, you know, that's funny though, because even there at Eloise, like we got all that, like it just trickles through the haunt community so fast.
Oh, yeah.
People are like, what's going on at Eloise? I'm like, what, in Michigan?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, what's going on? Oh man, there's a big split up there, and ownership, and this, that, and the other, and all the actors are leaving. I was like, we were just there.
Yeah.
You know, like we were just there for the MHC thing. What are you talking about? You know, so
now there's pirate ships and
Yeah.
captains in charge of all you scallywags.
Oh my god.
It's crazy to think that, you know, 3 years, you're finally hitting like a great stride, and then all of a sudden it seems like at least from my opinion, it's like something that could possibly, you know,
just derail it.
Derail it big time.
That's wild.
Yeah.
It's so funny because like you watched like just a stupid movie or something, and in a movie everything is going great, and then there's that one thing that just that would never happen.
Right.
And you're just there like, seriously? Are you? I mean, what are you? There's things that have happened certain places. I won't get into it, but I'm just like, how have you let this happen?
Right.
Why would you make that decision? What in the hell's going on? It's one of those deals. You know?
Yeah. Is that kind of the same thing? That was an extremely talented crew up there.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And it's like, to see that somebody let that fall apart blows my mind.
Yeah.
Absolutely blows my mind.
Well, when we went up, because Robbie got a hold of us, said, hey, come up as my, because we didn't have tickets for it. So he's like, well, you can come up as my guest. I want you to check it out. I was like, yeah, absolutely. So we just roll up there. And we were like, oh, this will be cool. Now Detroit is... There's not many places in Detroit I like.
Right.
I'm not going to say it. I'm no disrespect to Detroit, but I'm just like, I like safety. And that place is just dangerous as hell. No, but it's just like, I've had many experiences there where it's just like, Jesus, we got out of that one. You know what I mean? So when I roll up to Detroit specifically, not just Michigan, but Detroit, you know, you're kind of on guard. So like where it was, I'm like, man, this place is kind of shady.
Yeah.
You know? So what are we getting ourselves into here? You know what I mean? Did we get there and, you know, I saw Robbie and we started bullshitting and, you know, well, let's go in. So we go in. The buses all pulled up. We started going through and we were just like, wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Dude, we were
that
just
building, just walking up to the building, you're like, but same thing here. I mean, we pulled in for Mansfield. I'm like, I forget how big this place is. And then, shocking.
The inside, I mean, the building is, of course, awesome.
Right.
Like, when you go in, like, I just wasn't expecting the level it was at.
Yeah.
I really wasn't, because it was just relatively new.
Right.
And the techniques that they used, not just, you know, like set dressing, but like the lighting. And like 1 minute we were like, Jesus, I'd never been to a haunt where it was like so bright. And the next thing you know, the lights changed and you're like, oh shit. It was like, I'm like, we're doing that.
Right.
You know, I mean, we knew right now we're going to start doing that shit because it was like so disorienting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But everything just looked amazing, and the projection mapping that they did in there was just out of this world.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
It blew my mind that we hadn't heard of it until MHC last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so you guys weren't there for that?
We were there at MHC for the bus tour.
Okay, but so you hadn't even worked there. So you just worked the one season then.
Right.
Oh, I remember the bus tour. The warden's widow walked through, and like, I was fangirling. I'm like, oh my gosh, the warden's widow walking through my room. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I hand her a tote tag, and then she put it back down thinking that like it was meant for the scene, but I made like just random toe tags to get everyone. So
that's good stuff.
That was our first time being at Eloise too. Was with, you know, most of the industry seeing it for the bus tour. That was awesome.
No, it was great.
Actually, it was that same guy that hooked us up in Chicago. He was like,
really?
He's like, hey, there's a haunt right by me that they're on the bus tour this year. They could use some people. And I was like, we're here.
Yeah, we'll go.
Yeah, we should make him our agent.
Chicago, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Right. Oh, God, don't start a trend there. Right. I don't want that shit. I want actors on here. You're going to have to speak to my agent.
Yeah, you're going to have to talk to my agent.
Here's his business card. Talk to you later.
Well, some actors, like, there's some that I've encountered. Again, I'm not going to name names, but there's some I encountered where they're like, yeah, I'm going to need, like, an absorbent amount of money. And I'm just like,
I'm
listen,
the best.
Bro.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, we're a haunted house, man. At the end of the day, we're a haunted house. You know, it's like, sorry, I'm not doing that. But, you know, like, I try to help people. Like, when we have people that come from far away, even and if we hire them, you know, like, during the season, we do trades with, like, hotels and stuff like that. It's like, look, I know you're driving from Akron, or one person drove from Zanesville. And I was like, holy shit.
Wow.
That's far from here. I'm like, well, I got rooms. So if I'll put you in a room. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know, if I usually get a handful of rooms, so I try to do that kind of stuff. But some people just want like crazy money, and I'm just like, you know, this is what we pay. You know what I mean? You gotta do this is what we can do for it. Right. You know, you'll have a good time. You'll meet great people. So, Eloise was amazing. I think you guys are gonna fit in like, you know, beautifully at Nightmare. I can't wait to come up. I was up there earlier, not today or anything, but like, when's the last time I was up there?
Christmas? No. We
No.
didn't do Christmas.
No, they didn't do Christmas.
I think I saw you up there. We opened up for like a Thursday night, and like a handful of people from other haunts came up. It was either a Thursday or a Sunday.
I thought I'd been there after, but maybe not. But like we just seeing the expansions were just amazing. And then, you know, Brian was kind of walking me through going, so this is what we're doing here. It's really like Disney level as far as like making the queue line a part of your show. Right. You know what I mean? Right. Which I love. Yeah. You know what I mean? And the way they do that is it's great that they do that kind of stuff because when you're like where it's at, it really takes you out of it. Right. Which is real key. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, because the other haunt, Chippewa Lake Slaughterhouse, if you guys been there, I'm sure.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So that place is so awesome because it's kind of like us. It's a cool building. Right. You walk down that dirt road to get to it, and the weeds are all high, and you're like,
am I lost?
Yeah. Dude, what is happening?
Am I supposed to be here?
Airplane and it's just like, what in the hell's, what are we doing here? But like where Nightmare Cleveland is, it's real, you know, like a metropolitan area. Right. So it's like when you get there and you go in, it just like instantly takes all that away. Right. Mm-hmm. And they did a really good job doing that. Right. You know, it's got to be fun.
Oh yeah, yeah. I couldn't believe like how well themed everything is, and then going down the Chippewa and seeing that they did the exact same thing down there. Like I absolutely love that when it's like there's a good storyline there. That's Vaughn's thing, and that's something he does well, is that immersiveness of, I'm going to create a storyline, whether it's the, you know, Carver Family Slaughterhouse or Biotech Industries. He creates these storylines, and you see the logos blasted on everything, the costuming. I mean, it's detailed through and through.
It is. They do a good job. Everyone's doing great down there. And I think that it's going to, you know, just get bigger. Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? It's just going to get bigger and bigger. And I think Cleveland was kind of needing this. Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? Bad. Yeah. I mean, nothing, I'm not like ripping on anybody, but I just think it's something new and fresh. Right. You know, because at the end of the day, you're there, you're kind of there for each other. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you know, there's 2 haunts in our area, and we're good friends. Right. You know what I mean? So it's just like, if they're going to come to mine, they'll go to yours. Right. You know what I mean? So it's like, why not do that?
We don't have a lot of options in our area.
Not really. Mm-mm. You know what I mean? There's things around, but like Nightmare Cleveland, like there's nothing that really represents Cleveland that well. You know what I mean? Right.
It's one of my favorite things about after we got hired. If you're in the parking lot and you look out, you can see the Cleveland skyline. Yes. It's one of the beautiful things about working at Nightmare Cleveland. So, I love ending the night seeing that.
So being managers then, is that all you do, or do you still get in gear and head out on the floor, or are you just there for the management part of it?
We get in gear.
Yeah, get in gear. Yeah. We figure that's a good way for everybody to oversee like the departments that they're in charge of, you know. I'm in my costume kind of free roaming, but you know, I'm looking at the makeup versus, you know, the lighting and everything, and she's checking on the actors and
Yeah, I was going to say from a cast manager perspective, I mean, knowing firsthand what your actors are doing, being able to work with them, help develop them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. So I'll get in costume, I'll jump in there with them and, make sure things are running smoothly. If a customer gets clogged in their room, I'm trying to egg them on. Let's go.
Yeah, that's always fun.
She does both, though. I saw her get into costume, do actor checks, get into normal street clothes, go through and pretend she was a customer to see what they were doing when they didn't know it was her.
That was one of my favorite things I learned at Eloise Asylum was Nina, the cast manager there. She'd put a wig on, she'd wipe her eyebrows off, wipe her makeup off, everything, and put street clothes on. I called her the undercover boss because I'm like, I didn't know it was her 90% of the time, but she'll walk through with her phone and, she's kind of doing skill drills. What are you guys doing? Are you doing the right thing?
Blatantly breaking the rules and seeing who's going to be like, hey, stop that.
Yeah, so I kind of learned that from her and I'm like, okay, this is actually a great idea to see what your cast is doing. I'm going to start implementing this.
That's cool. I had an acting manager do that too.
Right.
Well, when Brian was here, he was the acting manager, and he would always walk through and he would just pull his hoodie up real, But see, I would always just follow a group because I know if they see me, then it's like then they just break rules on purpose.
Right.
Like we have touch passes here, so it's like they see me, and then it doesn't matter what I'm wearing. I'm going to get thrown in a room or get in a headlock, or they're going to jump on me. It's like all right. You know what I mean? But it's like making sure everyone's doing what they're doing. It's good to have you guys in the trenches with them.
Right.
Talk about touch passes here for a second. One of my first times I came to Blood Prison as a guest, my friend was working that night, who's a fellow haunter, and at the time they were like, "Okay, my friend's coming through. I want you guys to get her good." Of course, what any other haunter would do. You tell your friends.
Yeah.
And when I walked through, I was like, I'm going to get a touch pass. I'm so tough. I'm going to go through Blood Prison. I'm awesome. I go through and I'm screaming like a baby. One of your biggest actors like bear hugs me and puts me in a coffin and stuffs me in a jail cell. So you guys are the real deal with those touch passes. I'll tell you what. Yeah. It was so much fun. I loved it. I loved every minute of it, though. Like when I'm literally questioning him, I'm like, am I gonna actually make it out of here? Like there was a moment of concern, but I'm like, this is awesome. You push the limits.
Last year we started calling them between us. We started calling them between the crew. It was like we called them the rough passes.
Yeah,
right.
You know what I mean? Because like people were just really into it last year, especially. Because you always get kind of some complaints over there, and we have there's guidelines. It's like, don't do this. But people were just like digging it,
right?
Like big time.
Right.
Last year especially. So like, it was like, look, it's about reading your group and everything, and you can tell if someone's wearing a touch pass, and you can tell if they're not having it.
I was eating
you know
it
what
up.
I mean?
Yeah.
Then don't.
Right.
You know what I mean? But yeah, that was like just here. I've heard a couple things like what you just said, and I was just like. They picked you up, huh?
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be doing that.
Sorry if I got anybody in trouble.
Yeah. Where was that exactly?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Describe the scene.
Yeah. Was that in the cell block? Was that upstairs? Where were we at? No, some people just love it so much, and it's hard to get carried away. And then I've never been an actor. I've always been behind the scenes, and I kind of preferred it that way. The last 2 seasons, I was like, all right, I'll do it. So I went out and started acting, and I was like, yeah, I can see how people get addicted to this kind of thing. You know what I mean? It is repetitive at times.
Yeah.
Where it's just, especially on a busy night when you got a big group that they group up, and next thing you know, you got 40 people at a time.
Conga line walking through.
Stop. So I just don't act on those nights.
Right. Fair enough.
But doing that though, because I'll just do it on Sundays. I got a respect for what you guys have been doing, and I tell that to everybody who's acted before that I talk to. I'm like, I got a new respect for it because. I didn't realize, you know what I mean? I didn't realize what goes into it, like, fully. I mean, I did, I know, but until you do it, you're just like, oh, my God. So the first time I did it, the next day, I was just worthless. Because I broke every rule that I told. I didn't pace myself. I went 100 miles an hour the whole time.
Right.
And I'm not exactly in shape. So it was like, it was not a good thing.
Right.
The next day, I was just like, ugh. Jesus, my ass cheeks were just like, 'cause I was like constantly under tables and just, leaping out at people. My legs were just like, fuck me.
Yeah.
What is this workout I do?
Yeah.
Rookie mistake.
Right.
So I had to give everybody the respect. I'm like, okay, I get it. I'm sorry.
For sure.
Yeah. We've all been there though.
Yeah.
We just did laser tag at Nightmare Cleveland not too long ago.
I wanted to come up for that, man.
You missed out on a great show.
Yeah.
We open up again in June for laser tag. 28th and the 29th. Am I saying this right?
I'll be there. Sure. I'll be there.
June 28th, June 29th. It's a Friday and Saturday. We're open from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. for laser tag.
Oh, yeah.
Our cast, they are killing it.
Yeah.
That was our first event as like official managers. And I don't know these guys yet, so I hardly had any time to get to know them as staff and how they could act and what their abilities are and,
sure.
Strengths and weaknesses.
Right.
We had a few hiccups, but the small minor hiccups that we had, I'm like, if that was our biggest issue, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Like, that was the best it could have gone, in my opinion.
That could be interesting, like, for you guys, first time coming in, running the event. You guys worked last year, though, right?
Yeah, just kind of filled in on Thursdays and Sundays.
Okay.
We were treated just like every other staff member. We were put in a scene. We didn't have anything, so, like, I was in a scene. I didn't know any of the staff, so trying to put everyone in a scene for laser tag, I was kind of struggling. I'm like, hey guys, help. I'm asking Dembski, like, what, are they good with dialogue? Are they good at because we had to, when you walk through for laser tag, we have the infected and then we have survivors. Mm-hmm. So the survivors are our movers. They push the customers along, like, you cleared the room, you're good, let's go. Yeah. And then your infected are, wearing the collars that you shoot. So I needed to know, like, who's better at a zombie and who's better at talking, who are my mouthpieces. And, I didn't know all that information when we were staffing at the time.
Yeah, that's got to be one of the days you might have wanted a theater actor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just to get that dialogue down for, people. But, the laser tag thing seems to be trending up. And we went to Fear Columbus and did it the last 2 years. Had a great time down there.
Yeah.
I can't remember what exactly happened, but we had something going on where I couldn't come up.
Right.
For Nightmare. I just moved and there was but I will be there for the next one. I'm definitely going to come up for that. I'll talk to Brian and be like, I'll be up.
Right.
Let's do it.
I'll text you. I'll text you a reminder. I do that. Our general operations or our operations manager, he forgets like stuff all the time. But
yeah, who's that? Gavin?
Gavin, yeah. So I just texted him a calendar for the month of June. I'm like, okay, this is everything we got going on. This is the training day. This is, so he knows MHC's, these dates and so on and so forth.
I just hung out with him at Sonic Temple.
Yes.
Oh, right on, yeah.
And I was sitting, because like Incarceration and Sonic Temple are same company.
Yeah.
Right. Danny Wimmer presents. And they always kind of like hook us up, you know what I mean? So they're like, yeah, come down to Sonic, and they give us universal passes so we can hang out backstage and
right on.
do all that stuff. And I kind of, the cool thing was, so we're doing this giveaway with Ink, like the reformatory is. Like, we got these Airbnb houses across the street.
Oh, okay.
So we were trying to get the word out there, and they had asked me, like, hey, would you reach out to the widow and see if she would post something about it? And I was like, yeah, sure. I mean, I'll see if she'll do that. And, of course, she was cool with it.
Right.
But I told her, I was like, look, you do this for us, I'll get us some killer passes for Sonic Temple. And she was just like, because she had already bought passes. I was like, sell those.
Right.
And I'll get us backstage, side stage viewing. That she was like, no problem. So we did that, and I'm backstage at the media lounge, and I'm sitting there talking to this girl from DWP who I'm working with, cross promoting Blood Prison stuff, and I see Gavin like walk around the corner. I'm like,
I know that guy.
So he told me what he was doing. I was like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense,
Right.
And then I saw Vaughn, and then here comes Vaughn. I'm like, all right, well.
They're the best. Yeah. They're just absolutely the best.
And Vaughn's wife.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, like, yeah, what's up? So we all started sitting there talking. The DWP girl, I'm like, yeah, we got hunters back here now, so we're taking over everywhere.
Yeah, that's right.
But no, they're great guys, man. They're just real easy to get along with, and love helping them out with anything, helping anybody out really on the end of haunt. But it was funny when we were at Sonic Temple, because I mean, there's some pretty major bands there.
Right.
Like, we're literally walking through the crowd, and I don't know how many times like we had to stop because someone came up to the widow and was just like, "Can I get a picture?"
Oh, I don't doubt that.
Oh, dude, it was just like, I'm like, and we're all like, we're busting our balls, like,
we're trying to go here.
And she was like, "They're TikTok, they're nice people," so I'm like, it's fine. But it's just kind of funny how that happens,
Right.
TikTok fame is a thing now.
I'll tell you what, we walked through Fear Columbus with the Widow and Dembski for their Krampus event this last December. I didn't think this, same thing as you. Like, I don't know. I didn't think people were going to stop her for photos and stuff, but they do. You know, all the actors were like flocking over her, and I was like, oh gosh, no wonder why. She needs to seek, shelter sometimes from it.
People pin her out.
Yeah. And they do. I mean, being as tall as she is, certainly helps.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's got to, and I can tell that she's being cool about everything. But it's got to wear on you after a while, where it's just like, oh my God, I'm just hanging out, man.
Yeah, trying to do my thing.
We went to at Ink. So what we do at Ink, which is a lot of fun. Okay, if you guys want to come and guest act, let me know.
Yeah, right on.
Oh, absolutely.
Get you into the show.
Yeah.
But we do this thing. We do the show. And then we hang out outside, right? We have a booth outside. So we promote outside. We do the show inside. And then after the show closes, I think it's 5 o'clock, they get out of makeup. We go out there to the booth and we hang out. So we're hanging out there with Widow and a bunch of us. Just a bunch of us hanging out there. This girl walks up, just drunk as shit, right? And she looks up at the banner I had up there that has the Widow on it, and she was just like, I want to meet that bitch on the banner.
In front of her?
Oh, there's right there.
Present.
Oh, dude, it was so funny. It was so funny because we're all just like, oh my God. And the Widow goes, yeah, she is. I heard she's a major bitch. I'm like, she is. It was so goddamn funny. And she of course, she played into it and everything. But this lady was just like really stupid drunk.
You had to go find the shortest girl you had on staff to bring her out.
Yeah.
That would have been hilarious. Someone 4 foot.
We've been talking about doing a mini Widow.
That would be adorable.
Get someone else to walk with her and be like, Yeah. Very interesting. So my other question for you guys is, you guys are like kind of known, within the industry. Where did you guys meet at?
Nightmare Pioneer.
Yeah.
Now, where is that exactly?
It's in Chardon, Ohio. It's at Pioneer Waterland Water Park.
Okay.
When we first started, it was Fall Fear Fest, but then Daddy DeWine said no more festivals. So we were like, okay, we'll change our name. So that's how it became Nightmare at Pioneer. But some people might know it as Fall Fear Fest. And I never got to see what he looked like for the first 3 years of knowing each other.
Yeah.
He would show up in costume, in character. I was the cast manager there too, and he would show up in costume, in character, swoop right in, get in scene, had his water and everything, never needed anything, and then swoop right on out. Yeah.
Business.
Never knew what he looked like until one day all of us were like, okay, let's go hang out here, and he showed up and I'm like, really? That's what you look like outside of character? Yeah. Get out of here. You're kind of cute.
Yeah. Recovery. You like that?
It's the hair.
Oh, dude. So where it's like, this is the thing that me and Dembski kind of do, and I'm sure you guys probably do. So we see people, we make fun of people a lot. When we're people watching, it's just like,
of course.
There's some creatures out there.
It's just I've known Brian since I think 2006. So we worked at the same shop together, so we clicked right away because we were just kind of similar in that sense.
Right.
I'm not the artist that he is, and does all that stuff. But we'll see people, and he'll be like, "Dude, look, it's Rye." You know what I mean? Or we'll sit there and go, "Look, it's Jen."
Right.
We were at Jen's my cast manager here. We were at Sonic Temple, and I saw a guy that had this thing on like yours,
right?
And dreads, and I nudged him. I was like, "What?" I'm like, "Pappy."
Aww, I love that.
And he was just like,
He's here.
There was no similarity other than that.
Hey,
just the dreads.
Yeah, that was it. The dreads and the thing and the bandana you're wearing there. That was it.
I had a showdown with a guy at a grocery store near me because he came staring at me, and I saw he had long dreads too, and he's like, all my friends, they get me confused with you a lot.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? He's like, do you drive a Jeep? I'm like, yeah. He's like, my friends are always saying, I just saw you driving your Jeep the other day. And it's the same thing. It's like we're sitting there just eyeballing each other. I'm like, well, it's just the dreads, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, hey, there's something about, that's the thing that people pick out.
No, I hear it.
Yeah. So I gotta ask you something too. I'm noticing your shirt.
Yep.
The Buzzard up in Cleveland. I'll give him a shout out, because I used to work there.
Oh, hell yeah.
Did you really?
When I worked in radio, when you walked in, I saw your shirt. I'm like, all right.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah. But now this was 1999 because I'm an old man.
Right.
All right. So this is 1999. I worked at, I was going to school up there.
Okay.
Okay. Because I had worked in radio, but then, for whatever reason, someone said, hey, spend money to go to a broadcasting school. Because I was just, kind of not self-taught, but like interned at my small town radio station.
Right.
But I had so much fun at that radio station.
Hell yeah.
What do you do? Is that a shirt you own? Or are you a fan of the radio station?
Yeah, big fan. Honestly, like, my whole family has been obsessed with the Buzzard as long as I can remember. When my godfather passed away, his wife gave me a big garbage bag filled of old MMS shirts when they were still 101.
Yeah.
And, like the classic shirts. So, I put those away. But, yeah, so the Buzzard's just always been around my house.
That's awesome.
So, and now I just keep it going. And people at my regular work, too, they notice me in it all the time. So he's like, hey, my dad passed away, and he had this big ceramic Buzzard piggy bank. I think you should have it.
That's awesome.
It weighs a ton.
Yeah.
It's in its final resting place in the laundry room because I can't move it.
Dude, that was the most fun job I ever had. But it technically was, it was an internship technically.
Right.
But that experience working at the Buzzard, because like you went everywhere in Cleveland working with them. Now, again, this is 1999 when radio was still relevant because nobody really gives a shit really about radio anymore.
Right.
With the internet and Spotify and stuff like that, it's just a different time. It's still there.
Right.
Like if I'm in Cleveland and I happen to have my radio on, I always tune into the Buzzard just to see if what's still going on, even though it's totally different from when I was there.
Oh yeah.
But I'm still friends with a couple guys that work there. And we had so much fun. Like, we would go to Blossom, like, every other weekend. Okay? So, like, going to the shows, Black Sabbath, Godsmack, Roger Waters show at back then it was called the Gund Arena.
Right. Yeah.
I got to see Roger Waters at the Gund Arena.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, dude, it was amazing. And it was just one of those things where I would never trade that for the world. The only thing I didn't get to do up there was, like, stuff like what we do now. The haunted house stuff. I would go to haunted houses, but that was one, because it was a summertime gig.
Right.
And then I had to, when I got a job offer for being on the air, and, I was like, well, I got to take that because I got to, I got to further myself and, hear what I know less than 10 years later, radio would be gone.
Right.
But, like, the Buzzard was, like, almost an institution.
Oh, yeah.
When I went to school in Cleveland, I'm like, I'm going to go to broadcasting school. I'm going to get an internship at WMMS. That's my goal.
Right.
And I did. I went there, and I remember there was a guy named Spaceman Scott that was working there. Okay. And that's who I'm like, I remember hearing that guy. And then Mark Munch. I don't know if you ever remember Munch.
Yep.
That's who I worked for directly.
Oh, right on.
On the promotions team.
Yeah.
And Mike Onowski, and he was one of the guys. He's actually, I believe, a cop in Parma now. I might be mistaken.
Right.
But I got some wild stories about that guy. When I first heard him, I'm like, that guy's a cop? Oh, my God. You know what I mean? Because we would go to events. Like, we almost got into fights with guys because we would have to, like, they had a giant inflatable Buzzard.
Right.
Right? And I remember this one guy, it was called The Taste of Cleveland. And it was like, I think it was like down in the flats somewhere, like somewhere off by this Nautica stage back in those days.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We were down there, and they had the giant inflatable Buzzard. And this guy, like, jumped the fence to get to it. And he was sitting on the Buzzard foot, and he was just bouncing up and down on it.
That's too cool.
Freaking Buzzard is, and I was like, what the hell? So I go, and Mike was, like, the guy I interned for Munch, but, like, he was like, you're with Mike. I'm like, all right, Mike and Todd. The other guy's named Todd, who's I'm friends with. I got a mutual acquaintance with him, and I was like, holy shit, I remember him. But I'm like, Mike, someone's pulling the Buzzard down. He was like, what? So we roll over there, and this guy was like just drunk as shit. And I'm from small town Ohio, and we're in Cleveland, so I'm like kind of just already on my guard a little bit.
Right.
And this guy was like instantly ready to just start throwing fists. And I'm just like, oh shit, here we go. So I'm backing this guy up, and he's like, go ahead. And he's not backing down. He's like, let's do it, And I'm like, here we go. First big city fight. I'm probably going to get my ass kicked, but whatever. But the guy backed down, and his friends rolled over, so it got really intense there for like 5 minutes.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
And I think maybe they realized they bit off a little more than they could chew. I don't know. That's kind of the feeling I got. And I was like, whew. But they left, and that guy was just like, hey, man, nobody else had my back. And I was like, well, I wasn't going to let you get jumped. You know what I mean? And he was just like, thanks a lot. And then, like, it was so funny because the reason we were there was for some cause. So he, like, dips into the cause money, and it's just like, here you go.
Little spot bonus for you.
Yeah.
That's my favorite story of working at WMMS. But, man, that is just so... When I haven't seen anybody wear that shirt in so damn long. I've still got, like, 3 shirts at home.
You're right on.
That I don't wear them anymore, but I kept them from those days.
His wardrobe is either haunt clothes or the buzzard.
Yeah.
So there's nothing in between. Well... cruise t-shirts and luau's.
Walking advertisements all the time.
That's right. Oh, I'm the same way. Everywhere I go, I got Blood Prison on or Nightmare. I got a couple Nightmare Cleveland shirts. I just, we just do it.
He's got Nightmare Cleveland swag, and we don't. We have t-shirts. We need more.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we need more swag.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Gavin, if you're listening.
Dembski,
yeah.
What's going on?
Dembski's always busting my balls. I'm still wearing my Eloise hoodie everywhere we go.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever. That dude wears every haunt shirt. Like, every time he would come here, he's not in his Blood Prison shirt. He's wearing his...
Something else.
House of Shock.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean?
Netherworld, yeah.
Right. He's busting your balls. That's funny. Yeah, he's always got some, like, haunt... what was it? House of Torment. Come the 9 million haunts he's worked at.
Oh, for sure.
I was going to say, he's been everywhere.
Yeah, Brian's a good dude. I mean, I know... I've known him since, like I said, 2006, and we just, like... We got along because we had that same sense of humor.
Right.
So it's just like when we hung out at Trans World, it's just sitting and just laughing.
Right.
Which makes it fun to work with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And he still comes down and like he's gonna do our escape rooms for us, like do the distressing and everything. So we're looking forward to that. I always look forward to working with Brian. So what are you guys looking forward to? Most of all, coming up for 2024 Nightmare Cleveland.
Oh gosh, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Go ahead.
I get butterflies when I talk about Nightmare Cleveland because I just love it so much.
Yeah, that's great though.
I'm excited to change the culture. I can tell that when we worked there last season, the staff knew each other, but they didn't like love each other or care. Maybe they did to an extent, but that was more or less because that was their best friend. Not so much about like everybody together. So we're starting to change that, and we're starting to implement like different like little cookouts and get-togethers, and I can already see like the friendly like banter between them of, hey, I'm gonna beat you at this game or whatever. So I'm just super excited to see everybody come together and be excited to be at the haunt, because now everybody's texting me, when can I come up, when can I help? I'm like, oh gosh, like it's overwhelming, but it's amazing. Like I want to hopefully come up with more stuff. All the costuming's good to go. It's just tweaking little things here and there.
Yeah.
So I want these guys to get involved. I want them to be excited. So that's what I'm excited to just be able to be a part of that, transition where you see that positivity come into play now.
Yeah. Most of the time they want to help out. You know what I mean? Like we get the same thing where it's just like, I hate it because a lot of times they just don't have anything for them. I'm just like,
exactly.
I don't got nothing for you right now. Sorry. But I mean, once we do the build, sure,
And they keep asking.
What do you got coming up? What are you excited for? 24.
I'm excited for getting all the characters to match the level of what Dembski's doing and what Drake's doing to the scenes. Yeah. Because the scenes were incredible.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not bashing anybody who was doing anything before, but yeah, it's like I want to get those characters to match that level.
Right. So is there a lot of different are there changes coming?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we are definitely launching some icon characters this year, and
sweet.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that.
Our icon characters, I'm really excited for.
Yeah, can you spill it or no?
Do you want to? It's up to you. There's a couple that we're drumming up right now. If you wanna say, I'll leave that up to you.
I can tell you that there's a big military force that's coming in. I believe we settled on the name the Sphere, and
very cool.
Those guys already just look badass. Yeah. And they're just in the starting, stages, and Dembski's kind of been throwing some stuff together. We've been throwing different outfits together, and it's like, these guys are already looking so badass. I can't wait to see it.
Oh yeah.
We have unique characters. I've never worked at a haunt that has robots. You come to Nightmare Cleveland, we have freaking robots. Like, it's so cool.
Yes.
So
it is.
Yeah.
It's like when we first went up, well, when we first saw when they were putting it together, like before they opened, like I, got to go up and like, I'm like, dude, this is like, I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? The sci-fi part of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's awesome. That's really cool.
We've got creatures, we've got bugs, we've got robots and lab technicians. I mean, it's just going to start growing too with us adding this like military. And that came into play with laser tag because now we have this giant armory that you kind of see when you're entering or in the queue line, I should say. So we're like, okay, well, how do we make this make sense for the season? And here's our military, our security of biotech, industries.
That's cool.
I'm excited for them.
Yeah. No, it's looking great. I mean, everything up there, and it's really escaped the Halloween. I mean, it's Halloween,
right?
But like like the Michael Myers and the, that kind of thing.
The typical cliche or the original, the classics.
Yeah, and how haunted houses have evolved so much.
Right.
It's like that's there, that's respected. It's just like, but the evolution of everything, from where's the Jason character? We don't really do that anymore. You know what I mean?
Not using these licensed characters anymore.
Yeah, it's make your own.
Yep. And I think with shows like Stranger Things and The Last of Us, like I think people are starting to see a lot more sci-fi. Sci-fi is becoming a lot more mainstream, I believe. So for them to already kind of be in that realm is like you guys just in the right place, right time.
Yeah.
Which is definitely a cool thing.
And it works there.
Yeah.
Because like that's one thing where we're lucky, and like even like Chippewa Lake Slaughterhouse, our venue is, it's pretty badass. You know what I mean? It's like this big Gothic building.
Oh yeah.
Whereas like Nightmare Cleveland is in, in that I don't know, it's like
the basement of Value City. Well, no.
But you have that option because you're in a basement of a department store or someplace where you'd be like, oh, this is just this, but in the basement.
Oh, it's even more, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it really works when you got that kind of venue. So
for sure.
They made it work, and that's great. Because that is back in the day, like haunted trails were the thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you didn't like. I remember going to my first haunt. I remember like literally, and I was a kid. I'm like 9, 8 or 9 years old, and you're like, am I gonna die in here?
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's truly terrifying because it's the world of unknown. Yeah.
Right. And chainsaws are like this isn't like some pro level. You know what I mean? You're just like, is that really a chain? So you're just like literally running.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Because you're actually thinking your arm's gonna get cut off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is it for me. I can't believe I paid for this, but here we are.
Over.
We went to a party. I think it was my mom or dad. It was one of their friends had a party, and then they had like this. So it wasn't like an actual, haunted house or trail.
Right.
It was just what they did for us for the party. You know what I mean? So we were like walking through, and I remember there was like a bunch of us, and we're all just like looking around, and it's the woods, and it's dark, and it's like, oh, what's going on? You know? This guy just like pulls his chainsaw, starts it, jumps out of a tree, and we all just like. We went like every different direction, like screw the path. Yeah. We were like into the woods.
Done,
And I remember I am just like running as fast as I could because I like just wanted to make sure that dude was not going to catch me.
That's awesome.
Behind me. He'd chase somebody else, and I was just like, then you're scared because you're like,
where'd he go?
Yeah. I don't even know where I'm at right now.
Chainsaws work, man.
It
is a classic, and it works.
No, it is, and they do. But I think that's one thing that's hard to evolve from is like the big loud props.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
absolutely.
It helps with the scare, I think.
That startle.
Yeah. So how far involved are you guys in the? I mean, I know you're kind of new, but like, are they really letting you get into the bones of everything as far as like, what are we gonna do in this scene? What do you want the scene to look like?
Oh, that's for the man,
Dembski. Well, I mean, to a degree, I will say, like, obviously that's Dembski's role. Like, he's gonna have the majority of the ideas there. Mm-hmm. But one thing that I do appreciate about Brian is pretty much for everything. Characters, scenes, like we all roundtable everything. It's like everybody kind of has a voice for everything.
Yeah, that's good.
Even with these characters that we're developing, we had a meeting with all the managers and we said, okay, why do we need this new character? What's their purpose? And, how are we going to, introduce them to our storyline? So that was cool to be able to get everybody's perspective.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody at like Dembski's level, like I would take no offense to it if he was like, you just stay in your lane there.
Yeah.
But it's like, like,
he'll do that.
Oh yeah. I don't doubt that one bit, but yeah, it's I think it's a lot of open communication there, which is great.
I never dare question the man. When he says we're doing this, I'm like, yep.
Here's what you're going to do.
Right.
This is what you're going to do. Okay? Yeah. So in the next round table that you guys have, be like, all right, agreed. No, that's cool. We did have one question. When are we going to put the clowns in? Where is
yeah.
When the clowns fit in.
Just tell them, say, can we make like this robot clown?
Yeah.
In the one area, that would be really cool if we put a clown makeup on them.
Just out of left field, there should be a fun house.
Just
where's
final
the next,
scene.
Where are we gonna put the hillbilly in the coveralls with the chainsaw? Ask him that, like, we need one of those.
Right.
Just see what he says.
You know what?
He's gonna be like, oh my god.
We like at Nightmare Cleveland. It's funny you bring that up. Probably because Dembski is like one of our main like scene creators and the design director, I guess. We don't have clowns and chainsaws and things. So, like, I know that for him, that's going to be a topic where he's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. He's been trying. Like, when he was here, he was just like, we got to get rid of that clown area.
Listen, convincing you guys to do it, too?
Yeah, because we still got the clown area, and it is kind of on the chopping block a little bit because I think personally, for that hot second when the It movie came out,
right? They
were getting hot again because, there was. Remember that when the clowns were like those
everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere.
Yeah.
People were walking around town,
right.
And they were like, "Do you see the clown walking around town? They're coming to people's windows."
Yep.
All that wild
shit.
It
was an epidemic all of a sudden.
Yeah, and it was just like, okay, it's kind of fizzled, I think.
Right.
And I would always get my, they would bust balls because they would be like, where does it make sense in a prison? And that's a pet peeve when people start asking me, well, how does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Are you serious right now? I get it. I know what you're saying,
right?
But none of this makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's your storyline. It could be whatever you want it to be. Everything's open to interpretation, so it doesn't matter.
All storylines are open to interpretation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, why do I have this giant house upstairs inside why do I have that? I can
exactly.
That's the warden's widow's house.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's what we did with it. You know what I mean? And it works. Mm-hmm. Because like in the reformatory they have warden's quarters because the wardens used to live here when this was an active prison.
Right.
Yeah.
So the wardens would technically live on site, not the last few, but like in the old days.
Right.
So I can make anything make sense. You know what I mean? The clowns.
Kids party.
We had them in inmate outfits. We did. We had we had them in like blue striped or orange striped, and some black and white striped. And we made them, all jacked up or whatever. When Brian came, he was not about it. You know what I mean? So he was like, "Well, let's at least change the outfit." So I was like, "All right, what do you want to do?" So he made them more Shawshank, like with the jeans and the button-up shirts, and the inmate number right there. And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And that's kind of what they still are. But it was like, he was not a big fan of the clowns. So I always tell him, like, you need to do a clown character, man.
It's one of those things that I think amongst haunters, clowns catch a lot of heat. Yeah. But it's the same thing with the chainsaw. It's like the customers always want it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we're burnt out on it because we're around it all the time. Yeah. But it's like the customers want it.
And a lot of the times you've got to, 90% of it, you got to do what the customer. The customers want a clown. Give them a clown. You know what I mean? If they want the chainsaw. They want that scare factor of being chased with the chainsaw.
Right.
You got to give the customers what they want.
Right.
They're paying the money, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like what you guys are doing, it works. And it's like I rolled through Nightmare Cleveland. What else? Fear Columbus. There was another one. I can't remember where it was, but it was out of state somewhere, and there was no clowns anywhere. And I don't remember ever thinking, "Oh, there was no clowns."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because it was just so good,
right?
That it's like you didn't miss it.
You didn't miss it,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Or even a chainsaw scare, because I know you guys don't have one really, like a chainsaw scare, but everything was so good that you didn't really miss it.
Right.
So, and I think a lot of people, once they realize that, it's like, well, let's try something different then.
Right.
And we're trying that here, this year. You know what I mean? So we'll see how it goes.
I feel it.
That's all you can do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what's your favorite Halloween as a kid thing to do? Trick-or-treating, horror movies?
See, it was all about the costume for me when I was a kid. My mom still tells this story that I would get all the candy in the apartment complex. I don't eat candy. I don't touch it, so just sit there until my parents ate it. It was
Even
like,
as a kid, you didn't eat candy?
Did not eat candy.
Wow.
It was like, I love the act of parading around in my costume.
Showboating.
But the candy was just a little like, oh, I guess this is part of the deal. Like,
shocker, he's an actor.
I gotta carry a weight around if I'm gonna put on this outfit.
Why else am I gonna? Let's just see Pappy roll up. Trick or treat. And I don't want that shit.
Check this out.
Look at my costume.
That would be a new way to go.
Yeah.
Because most kids would get pissed off when you go to they go to your house and you like hand them an apple.
Yeah.
Right. Like, the hell is this shit?
Yeah.
You're just like, I don't want your damn candy.
Yeah, my parents were always super supportive of the whole Halloween thing. So like, I got really into The Undertaker, the pro wrestler. And,
there you go.
Like, I was like 5 years old, and they're trying to find a duster that would fit a 5-year-old, so I could be The Undertaker. Like,
The Undertaker is timeless himself.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, whether or not you're into like the wrestling thing or not, which I'm not really, but I used to be when I was a kid. The Undertaker is timeless.
Oh, for sure.
Robbie actually made this, Robert Cook from Escape by Design, in case you don't know who we're talking about. He made this fog curtain for us last year. So it's this big fog curtain, and it drops this fog, and we programmed it for music and everything, so we could put like whatever music. So we're sitting there, and it was for the widow and the guard. So I reach out to them and I go,
I've seen this.
You seen the one?
Yes. So this looks incredible.
Let me know what you guys want music-wise. So the widow, of course, wants Kubla Khan and Rammstein, right? The one guard wanted like Pantera, and the other guy wanted like, was it like, I don't know, it was like a Nickelback type of band. And we're just like busting his balls, like, we're like, what do we, and he's like the youngest one. You know what I mean? He's like the youngest kid. Right. He's just like, dude, can we get some Rise Against on there? Like, what the hell are you talking about? But he was like, can we use the Undertaker theme music? I was like,
that's an idea, yeah.
We can. So, and then we rigged the lights up, so it was like, we hit the fog, and it just starts pouring fog, and then that boom, right? And then the green light comes on, like these two big green lights we have, and we were just like, dude, that is awesome. And then you see the widow just walk out of the fog and everything. Dude, it was so cool. So cool. And it was Undertaker theme music that just made it. So that's the ones we used on like all the live videos and stuff we did. It was like, do the Undertaker one.
Yeah.
Because there's a button you got to push for the different song or whatever.
Right.
It's timeless, man.
Yeah, for sure.
He put that, and I love that, the Halloween characters are just like that. You know what I mean? Like the Undertaker and how Halloween is invading other holidays.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, Easter and
everything.
Christmas.
You guys like doing the off-season stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I do, because it gives us the opportunity to see other haunts. Since we're working during the season, those off-season events are like our opportunity.
Yeah.
You guys gotta keep doing Thursdays. Tell Gavin and Vaughn. Keep it Thursdays.
Oh, yeah.
They plan on it.
It's the only time we get to come.
Yeah, we plan on it.
Right.
We used to do Thursdays here, but it was hard because Thursdays are hard because people like work.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get them off work, and we're in Mansfield, so the market isn't like, we don't pull from like Cleveland. You got what's that population in that city? 500,000?
Right.
I mean, it's a big market, you know what I mean? So Thursdays were kind of rough, but it's nice when the bigger ones are open like that.
Yeah, I feel you.
Because you get to go.
Yeah.
And the off-season events, of course. And I am definitely hitting the laser tag this year.
You got to.
Nightmare Cleveland. I want to come up.
Yeah.
Off seasons, the first time I worked in off season, a friend of mine at Factory Terror asked if I wanted to come up and work St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll come work. How many people are you planning on seeing on a St. Patrick's Day?
Yeah.
That was my first experience with that.
Right.
And when, they're doing thousands of people a night for St. Patrick's Day, I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Like, people care about it.
If you market it right,
Yep.
they will come. People will come.
That's the big thing, like with what a lot of people don't get is the marketing end of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's very important.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you can just start a Facebook page and post stuff on there, but it's like it's so many more layers deep than that
Yep.
now. It's evolved just like everything else has, and it's like, oh man, it's really important to get to keep going to keep up,
right?
And especially in Ohio when you've got like major haunts, us, you guys, Haunted Hoochie, Fear Columbus,
right?
Dent Schoolhouse,
the
list goes on and on.
Yeah, a lot of major haunts.
Akron Haunted Schoolhouse,
right?
I mean, they're everywhere. Bloodview,
Yep.
Like all these haunts that are just they're everywhere. Like everywhere you turn, it's not just Ohio, but just the Midwest in general. From Illinois, Michigan, Pennsylvania. We went to. Did you guys go to? You guys were on the East Coast, were you?
No. We I'm so bummed we missed it.
Yeah, man.
I heard it was a good time. You guys went, didn't you?
I wanted to do that bus tour.
Laurel's was on the bus tour. Pennhurst,
dude, it was
Legends of the Fog.
It was a lineup.
Yeah.
Of
just knockouts back to back, all of them incredible.
Yeah, I mean it was. Yeah, I've been harping on it since because I just was like, when you go to some place when you go to a haunted attraction. When you go to one, like if you guys roll through Blood Prison, you kind of, you'll have fun and kind of what to expect.
Right.
But when you go to one where you are like, I feel like this is my first one again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That is like, so it was Markoff's Haunted Trail.
Oh, yeah?
And it's just outside of D.C. It's in Maryland.
Okay.
Recommend.
Worth
now,
it.
and I'm not shitting on all. Laurel's was awesome.
Right.
So was Legends of the Fog. So Pennhurst was like
incredible.
Very similar to Eloise.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But Markoff's Haunted Forest, man, I'm telling you what, if you can get out there for anything they do, you've got to see that.
Yeah, for sure.
Didn't they do an episode of Markoff's on Spooky Kisses Haunts? I think.
I think so.
Very possible.
On Amazon.
I think so. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we watched an episode.
Yeah.
I talked to somebody that said maybe they saw that
or
saw their video or their commercial or something. They were like, I didn't really look like I wanted to go. I'm like, dude, I'm telling you.
Loser.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like, no, you want to go to this because, I mean, when we got there, we were the same thing. It was just like, oh, cool. This is kind of neat. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It was, it's in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's outside of D.C., but it is in the middle of nowhere. And it's on this farm that's like a kind of like a self-sustaining farm.
Okay.
So like the food that they had at their Midway was like food that they grew and
get out of here.
Raised that was one of the best burgers
I was just about to say that had to have been the best food you've had in a long time.
It's a really good burger. It's fresh. You know what I mean? I was just like
farm to table at a haunted house.
Pretty much.
Right.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And it was like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's awesome.
I don't want to put out there what they do.
Right.
But like we walked when there's a town you go through. So, all right, let me back up here because I just get excited talking about it because I had so much fun at this attraction.
Right.
We went, first of all, getting there, it was probably 2.5 hours from Philly. Mm-hmm. And we were in Philly for East Coast. So we had to drive approaching 3 hours to get to this place. So we hit all these other ones, like Laurel's was cool because it was Laurel's that night and then Markoff's. There might have been another one. But either way, that was where we ended. And it ended up being almost 2.5 to 3 hours away from our hotel in Philly.
Yeah.
Now, maybe as the crow flies, it might have, but like that part of the country is just like very windy. Mm-hmm. But we get there and we didn't even know we were at the right place. So we're like pulling in. The GPS has go this way, and we're like, well, we're right here.
Yeah.
We're going on the road, but like,
this can't be it.
This can't be it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've seen no other cars. We beat the buses there, so the buses weren't there yet.
Oh.
And we drove ourselves, and we're just like, I don't know, man. I don't know if we're like really. And here's the thing: there was no other cars, like even on the road. Like we were not passing just traffic in general. So we're just like, what is going on?
Right.
Yeah, it was wild. So we get there, and then finally we get to this big this giant pasture, and then we see like some cars, maybe that worked there. I don't know. So we're like, well, maybe this is it. So we keep going, and we kind of crest over this hill, and then we started seeing lights. I'm like, it's got to be over there. We found it. I'm like, dude, this is wild. This is kind of weird. And there was like maybe 10 cars there before us. And we get out, we ask people, we're like, did you guys have a heart attack? Yeah, we were unsure if we were even like supposed to be here. Right. So we get there, and then they have these big trolleys like that take you from the parking lot to the attraction.
Oh, nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wow. How far of a hike was it if they had trolleys? Was it a good distance?
Remember that big pasture I just told you about? Like,
yeah.
You basically drove around that thing, and then you went to their town.
That's awesome.
And it was just like, okay, so we're at this town, and we get there, and we get off the trolley or whatever, and they bring us into this town, like an old Western type of town. Like
I love that, yeah.
And we're like, okay, and I'm like, that was a haunted trail. Like, no, that's the other part. It's like, oh, shit, okay, so there's two parts. This is cool, and the town was cool.
Right.
I mean, it was like they brought us into like this saloon, and this guy, they do a lot of like stop and go like scenes, and real theatrical. And the one guy, like, they did something, and he shot me in the head, and I was like, oh, and I played into it, of course, like, oh, you got me. Well, they grab my arm and pull me behind their bar, and I'm like, where are we going? And then the group, they push the rest of the group on, and next thing you know, I'm in the back part of this building, and I'm sitting there, and this girl comes out wearing like this dress, like this corset style.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, hi.
What is going on? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what are we doing? And she's just like, I'm going to draw a bullet hole in your head. And I was like, oh, cool.
Oh, that's too cool.
So they drew like this bullet hole in my head.
That's awesome.
It's taking a minute, so I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, you're drawing a penis on my forehead, aren't you? Oh. They started laughing. They're like, no, we're not doing that. But all right, sweet. And I'm like, okay. So they send me on, and then they like cut me through to this other place, and then I was like, hey, and they're like, oh my god, bullet hole, and it was funny.
Yeah.
So that was like the cue to the actors. You're one of us now. So they would all like pull me to the side and like fuck with me,
right?
Because I had the bullet hole in my head.
That's awesome.
You've seen behind the scenes now.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, pretty much, yeah. So that was really fun, and that was just like the beginning. And we get to this one part where it was these two girls, and one of them was in like this bathtub. It was kind of odd, you know what I mean? And I was just walking in, I was like, okay. And she's like, coming in, the water's fine. I'm like, what? It's like, feel the water. And I'm just like, I'm not doing that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm just like, whatever. She was in like a bathing suit or whatever, but I was like, this is just kind of weird.
Right.
It's my bloodbath. And she's doing all this kind of like, this is kind of odd, but I'm like, okay, and just kind of bantering back and forth with them. And then you get to the end, and there was like a coffin, and we got our picture taken. We're like, oh, that was kind of fun. Mm-hmm. But then they take us to the midway. So there was like
that wasn't even the haunt?
That wasn't even the haunt.
That was before?
Yeah.
So that's all pre-show fun?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. So we get back on the trolley, back around to where we parked, and they're like, you go that way for the midway. And we're like, okay.
Wow.
And they had like this zip liner that like you could zip line to the midway. Now they didn't have it running that night, but like there was this zip line thing.
Oh, that's too cool.
I was like, dude, what is going on?
I'm sold.
So, like people on horses walking around everywhere, and we're just like, okay. So we get there, and they have this giant thing in the middle where all these like lines would, go to the different shops and food places, but they only had a few open for that event,
right?
Because it was just for us, what I mean? Mm-hmm. It wasn't like a whole thing. And I could hear like this music going on to the left, like this almost like a rave. It was kind of weird,
right?
So then we went and we got food because they were like, okay, the food's ready. So because they feed you on the tour, so we went and we got food. I'm like, dude, these burgers are great. And then they were like, hey, we're opening the attraction up, but they had to wait till everyone went through the town because they had to pull those actors just to make sure they had enough. Right. Because the whole thing from beginning to end is a mile. You walk a mile.
Oh wow!
So it's long.
Yeah. So
we get in there and they're like, how many in your group? And it's like, it's 4 of us. So they send us on our way, and we get to the first part of this attraction, and we were like, oh, this is so cool. Mm-hmm. So it was like this big thing that you had to go in, and it was like a mine shaft type cave.
Right.
Is that the cave that looks kind of like the Grim Reaper?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, so we did watch this, yes.
Dude, we go in there, and it's old school. So it's like literally, like I'm a big dude, and I'm like, oh, God. I'm like squeezing through things. We're like, we supposed to be going there. So instantly, we were just like, this is so cool.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we're like crawling through things, and you're in this building. Next thing you know, you're back outside, and it's like a valley. So you're constantly just... And
that's
then,
awesome.
I don't want to give it away, but you just got to get there because I don't want people to know. But there was just every set, every prop, every scene was just spectacular.
Oh, yeah.
Their actors were just on point. You know what I mean? And they had like, I'll give a little bit away. I can't help it. There was like this giant Ferris wheel.
Ooh.
Like in the middle, and we're just like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And then there was like this, windmill, like a Swedish windmill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then like at the end, and that's tip of the iceberg, really.
Right.
And then at the end, there was like a fire truck. So like where I told you there was this rave music.
Was that coming from the fire truck?
Well, it was where the fire truck was. So
there's
like literally, you had to walk through almost like a broke down scaffolding of a building, and you're like walking up the steps, and there's like an actual ambulance like crashed into it. An actual airplane crashed into it.
Jesus.
A fire truck. A fire truck just boom.
Chaos.
Just like,
yeah.
What is it? And then they had all these guys with their, and they're just playing all this crazy music. They're all just
wow.
like, doing their stuff. And we're just like, what is that? I mean, it was just like, oh, man.
I want to go.
Oh, dude, we got it. Like, we had to organize a trip to get down there.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
We got out, and I was literally like, I want to go again. I want to go like, can we go
double
again?
back?
Yeah, I'm like, I will make that trek again. Because
Right.
it's a long walk. I mean, it is long, but it was so fun.
Especially up and down like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if they target customers with the bullet like during the season, or if that was special for the haunt
I don't
tour.
know. I have no idea. I didn't really ask him that because I was really taken away. Like
That's
weird.
different.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
unique, and it's like a way to get your customers like interacting with the staff. I love it.
Yeah, it was cool. And I mean, even Laurel's though. That's the theater one, I believe. Have you guys been to that?
We know of
Laurel's
Laurel's because of Alejo.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that someone who works there?
Yeah,
He's
they're-
another fellow makeup artist.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible.
That place is awesome too
Yes.
because it's in a theater,
Right.
and they like. It's not like the building. Like they set their scenes up in the theater.
Yeah, with
So
the
it's
seats and everything.
Well, and you're walking like.
At an angle.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you're just like.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool.
Right.
Like we left there going, we got to put some angled floors in the haunt. I mean, it was just like, because it was a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was fun, and their sets were really great. And they had this big, at the end, like the big theater part of it is really cool.
Oh, I just watched a Scare Factor review of them walking through Laurel's, and at the dead end when you see, I call it the Phantom of the Opera room. I don't know if that's what they call it too, but with the chandelier and everything, I was like, this is just breathtaking. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that
Good.
room.
Do you guys like to hit up all the conventions?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you going to Midwest?
Oh,
know
of
it.
course, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to go, but I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. I got so much stuff going on, but I want to check out Hell's Gate so bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to go to that so bad.
We're going.
We're taking Gavin.
Yes.
Yeah. Hell's Gate.
We're popping Gavin's cherry and taking him to Hell's Gate for the first time. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm making him walk first. We've
Yeah.
seen it all, and it's a beautiful haunt, incredible,
Yeah.
and
Chicago area's got some.
Yeah.
They got it
Beasts.
going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of the big reasons why we went out there, was because Chicago's like an epicenter right now.
Yeah.
And there's not a scrub in the bunch,
No.
they're all killing it.
Yep. Now the Statesville place, that's no longer there, correct?
no.
That sucks. I always wanted to go to that. I've heard nothing.
Same. And we haven't gotten to see it, before they close. So that'll always be a mystery to us.
So
It's
what
sad.
happened there? Do you guys know since you were in the area?
No. Do you?
I believe the owner of the property, the farm that they were on, just decided he didn't want anything to do with it anymore.
That sucks, man. I hate
Yeah.
when that happens.
Yeah, as they
Oh,
were
that's
they were
right.
there for a really long time.
Yeah,
I
long
think
time.
he just got over it.
That happened up in Cleveland when there was, since Fear Experience, I don't know if you guys know
Yeah.
Fear Experience,
Yep.
that was a great attraction.
Right.
And then when they lost the property or their lease, I think is what it was,
Yep.
it was just like, oh,
Yeah,
okay, take a year off. Where are you going? And then it just kind of went away.
Right.
I have no idea how young Nick was at the time when he did Fear Experience. But if you've seen Fear Experience and go see Fear Columbus, it's like, wow. He just took all of his knowledge and then just doubled it and made everything bigger, better. And
Oh, yeah.
he's crazy
Yeah,
with...
he
How old
definitely
is he?
started out young.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still young.
Gavin's
He's not
young,
that
too.
old. Yeah, Gavin.
Yeah. Gavin, our operations manager, he's only 24, so, sometimes he's schooling us, though.
Yeah,
Oh, geez.
that's good.
Yeah, we'll go through YouTube videos that were like funny when I was young, and he's like, I've never even heard of this. Like, oh, no, I got a brand new market to unleash stuff on.
Yeah, it's nice for us because we're like, okay, we can be funny people again and show you all this old material. And it's like great to you because it's new.
Right.
So what are your guys' characters? Like, do you have a specific character you like to do?
We have an arsenal of characters. Yeah.
Yeah.
I figured as much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, we kind of bop around just based off of the haunt.
Yeah.
One one of the things that I did 2 years ago, I believe it was I just asked every haunt that we had gone to, I'm like, what's the room that you have a hard time staffing because of a character? And the overwhelming answer was a bug room.
A bug room?
Yeah, like a spider scene or
bee rooms, things like that. So that was the other good thing about us traveling all the time was like Chicago was like, that was just 14 hours a week of us just bantering ideas. Yeah. And so it's like, you should be an exterminator for these bug rooms. Yeah. And made the exterminator and ended up doing him out at Eloise. Yeah, and had a blast with that. Like, I think that's probably my favorite character I've done so far.
That's cool. What about you?
For me, it's my seamstress, Stitches. She was my first character at Forsaken Haunted House in 2012 is when I first created this character. So when I decided we were going to start travel acting, I just decided, I'm like, I'm going to bring this character back, but I'm going to do a better version of her because back in 2012, I just bought a yellow dress from Salvation Army, threw some blood on it, put some pins and needles in my hair, and was like, she's great. Nowadays, if you see her dress has patchwork, we hand sewn all the patches. I've got tulle on my skirt. I've got this big bougie beehive wig with needles and seam rippers. And I mean, she's definitely way more thought out. She's got a weapons belt with pin cushions and those cookie tins that mom used to have for, her sewing kits. Like, she's way more detailed and thought out now. She's definitely my favorite because I've done her since, basically the beginning.
Yeah, that's cool. Yep. So if people are trying to, if they want to act or do makeup, like what would you tell somebody, like, man, I want to learn airbrush and makeup. What would you tell them to do? Like, first thing is what you got to do.
Just buy it and go for it. Yeah. Because honestly, that's what I do is I just asked somebody who knew what they were doing. Like, what equipment do you use? I went all in on it, then and just loaded up and just started painting as much as I could. Yeah. Yep. And between
practice,
making her sit in a chair, every night, or I finally just got a Mayron head, so I can just paint that. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Just going for it, because really that's the best way is to learn. Obviously, surrounding yourself with people who know what they're doing. Sure. That never hurts.
Yeah. And that is, now, would you tell somebody you gotta have some ability artistically? Or can anyone, like, just jump on and start? I mean, because I would think you would gotta have some sort of natural ability, because I don't have it. I know
neither do I.
Yeah. I think to a degree. Like, I don't think someone who didn't have artistic ability would probably be, like, breaking out these new characters or anything, but I think I could teach somebody to replicate something. Right. And which is like a perfect thing with like Nightmare, how themed we are. It's like I can have like these photos and be like, this is generally what we're going for. Right. Make this. You can start kind of spilling out from there, but just get it generally like that.
So the days of just throwing blood on somebody are just kind of over.
I'm glad, because doing a lot of the low budget haunts that we worked before, it's like I am so over just the drenched in blood characters.
Yeah.
And being drenched in blood.
Yeah. And bleaching makeup room floors.
That's what I was just going to say. Bleaching the floors, I won't miss that. I hated when blood got on the floor, especially in like the common areas when it wasn't supposed to be there. Oh, yeah. So I'd get on my hands and knees and I'd scrub.
They would give us so much shit here.
Yeah.
Because it's historical, so they don't want blood all over everything.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Looks like we're blood prison. We got to have blood.
It makes sense, yeah.
But the early days, we would use that scab blood. Yep. And everybody just hates that shit. Like, it's cool, it's badass, but it's sticky and nobody wants to wear it. Yep. You know what I mean? And when you're in it all night, you're just miserable. Yep. And it gets on the walls and,
Yeah, once it starts, discoloring the scene, everything's like, I'm over it. Yep. Dempsey's going to have your head.
Right? And I hate it when people... There was... again, I won't mention names, but there was this one guy that used to work for me. And he didn't like how something looked. So he had blood on him. Like, he would carry it.
Oh, you like that?
And he like put blood on some of my props. And I remember I saw it and I was just like, why the hell is there blood all over this? Well, so-and-so saw and they didn't like, thought it could use more blood. I'm like, okay, shouldn't be doing that.
Right.
And it was about maybe 3 or 4 days later, we noticed that something was growing because he used mouth blood.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of like perma blood.
Oh,
So it started like molding, and we're like, so we had to like totally clean it. And that's when we started being, really bad about like, dude, don't touch stuff.
Right.
This isn't your, it's your scene, but you don't make the scenes.
Right.
You got to talk to us first before you do that. And that's just got to be annoying.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just went over that with,
I know, as soon as you said mouth yuck.
With mouth yuck.
Yeah.
That was a big thing that we've been using it. And so it's like, hey, you guys should try out mouth yuck. It doesn't make sense for your teeth to be perfectly clean, when you're a monster. And then it was like the first night that we did it, there was just pools the size of this table of like purple staining on the floors. I'm like, oh God.
The floors, the urinals, the common areas, and the scenes. And oh my gosh, I was scrubbing the floors. And because you have to use alcohol to get it off, it stains. I'm scrubbing with alcohol and water mixture, and Dembski's got his distressing cart, and he's kind of behind me on his hands, and he's distressing the floor again because we were ruining the floors. I felt so bad.
Well, not everybody knows all that noise, but so they just think, it's fine. If it goes in my mouth, it'll be,
right.
It'll clean up easy.
Right.
No, not so much.
No, and our people take their foot and they were trying to kind of like blend it in, but it made it worse. It smeared it everywhere. So I'm like, oh no.
They won't see this.
There's some blue Converse going through the
Yep.
So I always ask everybody, like your inspirations for Halloween, horror movies. What is your favorite horror movie?
Ooh, you go first. You know yours out the rip.
My favorite horror movie is probably House of a Thousand Corpses.
There you go.
I think I take a lot of my inspiration, though, oddly enough, because it's not really horror themed, is from a lot of Pink Floyd. Like the Wall to me is like a perfect horror scenario.
Yeah.
And like all the artwork from the Wall. Yeah. I love that. Like I don't know why, but that's where I get a lot of my inspiration from.
Well, whatever works.
Right.
And it is kind of scary when the kids are walking off or and they're falling off and then their mouths are all, they start coming out as hamburger.
Right.
That's kind of got a horror element to it.
Yeah, all the faces stretching up and it just screams going. I'm like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
I never looked at it that way, but I can see that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure. What about you?
I don't want to say I get inspiration from this. My characters are all kind of my inspiration is Helena Bonham Carter.
Okay.
When I'm acting, I kind of try to channel her. She's she's a female actress. She's in a lot of Tim Burton movies. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think. Of course, I'm going to draw a blank. She's in Sweeney Todd. She's in Harry Potter. You name it. If it's Tim Burton, she's in it. She's the redhead with the crazy hair.
Okay.
But I just love her acting. She can do, and to me, she's the female version of Johnny Depp. So
okay.
That's the best way I can describe her. Favorite horror movie or scary movie would be Sinister. The one where the little kids are filming their crazy deaths. To me, I'm like, that is actually chilling to see a little kid be like, ha ha ha, I just, mowed over my family with a lawnmower. I'm like, what is this?
Children of the Corn.
They have some very crazy, unique, thought out scenes with, I don't know, he put rats in their, on their stomachs and put a heat source to it so the rats would chew through their bodies. I'm like, who thinks of this stuff? That's insane.
Yeah, that is.
Right. So,
kids, when you add kids to the mix, that can get scary fast.
They're creepy. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Children of the Corn, Lord of the Flies.
Yeah.
You guys ever seen Lord of the Flies or read that book?
Yep. That's just high school project for
me. What the hell is happening here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kids can make. We were at Sonic Temple a couple weekends ago, and there was a kid there. Now, granted, he was just walking around in a Corey Taylor Slipknot.
Yeah.
He had the jumpsuit, and he had the old Corey Taylor Slipknot mask on, but he was this tall. Then he was just standing there.
Aw.
And he was like, get out of here.
Kind of freaking me out.
What are you doing? But yeah, the kids, and it can work both ways because it can be scary and it can make people those are just kids. kids.
Yeah.
Like, I know, right? They're dead.
Right.
You know? I asked the guy that was on last time. He actually stopped at Nightmare Cleveland. His name was Dakota.
Yeah. From Niagara Falls.
From Niagara,
yeah.
So I asked him the same question, and man, we had got such a laugh. I was like, "What's your favorite horror movie?" He was like, "Oh, I guess I'd probably have to say Scream." I was like, "Oh God, here we go." I go, "The original," and he was like, "Yeah." And he starts, like going over the Scream thing. I'm like, "Oh my God." I said, "Well, at least you didn't say Twilight."
Right.
You know what I mean? And so we were busting his balls. 'Cause I've never, ever heard anybody say, "Hey, what's your favorite horror movie?" Scream.
All of a sudden now, I think it might be more common. You know, when you're making all the.
It's making a comeback.
Yeah. I didn't even watch that new one where they brought everybody back.
Yeah.
You know, Courtney Cox, and I was like, I ain't gonna watch that.
After
Whatever.
that long like hiatus, like I can't follow the new ones for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Everything always gets changed so much. I mean, not even just horror movies, but like the reboots.
Yep.
You know, look at Batman.
Oh yeah.
How many people have played Batman?
Oh yeah.
Right?
Right.
How the hell do you keep rebooting that story? Well,
keep getting it.
Yeah.
And now with the multiverse thing coming in, now it's just like, oh my gosh.
Right.
I'm so confused. Who the hell is Batman? Is it Michael Keaton or is it Ben Affleck?
Right.
Yeah.
You know? It's just so hard anymore. You can't keep up with it.
See, and I'll probably catch a lot of heat over this, but I was talking to a friend of mine. I'm like, man, I've never watched any of this Marvel stuff. What's going on here?
Yeah.
He dropped off a thing of Blu-rays this tall, and he's like, you gotta watch this one. And he started telling me the order. I'm like, this is already too much for me.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Gotta watch it in this order.
Yeah, I am good.
Dude, the Marvel movie, I mean, I've watched those, but it's like, I like the ones like the Tom Hardy one where Venom.
Oh, yeah.
Those are great. Those are cool movies.
Right on.
The darker ones are I think are the better. Like the what was it? Stephen Strange, Doctor Strange or whatever.
Yeah, Doctor Strange.
The one that Sam Raimi directed was, I love that movie. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Because you could totally see the horror aspect of it.
Right.
You could see Sam Raimi's style.
Yeah.
And putting that in the Marvel world was just really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, you throw the guy that did Evil Dead into anything, and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah,
right.
It's going to get a taste of it. Yeah.
For sure. And those are great movies. The Evil Dead movies, Army of Darkness.
Right.
And you can draw from that stuff, and we always do. I mean, just from the Halloween,
oh yeah,
haunted attraction stuff. But I just love it, man.
Oh yeah.
That's what you got to do. Now, what do you guys do? Anything else? Or you guys got a different job, or you guys full time at Nightmare?
We have full-time jobs, and then I we work Nightmare as well.
Yeah.
So I work at Progressive. I've been at Progressive the last 7 years. And I used to be an auto claims adjuster. So if you got in a car accident and you were upset, you were probably talking to me.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, my bill's coming up soon, so we're going to have to chat.
Right. I do licensing for them now. So I'm kind of running background checks and fingerprinting and doing, more of that type kind of data entry work.
Background checks.
Yeah.
Never mind. We're not talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Pappy? What do you do?
I do like an industrial maintenance.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, electronics and whatnot.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Where at? Can you say?
Out at Pentair in Chardon.
Okay.
We make water softening units.
Oh, right on. So does that get stressful at times when you got to do both the Nightmare and that?
Yeah.
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 Pull you a bunch of different directions?
Right. Yeah, and it's, especially, I think what's going crazy for me now is I'll have like this free time throughout my work day where I'm like, okay, I could start working on haunt stuff here. Mm-hmm. And it's like Boston, it's like, no.
Well, hey, you got to try, right?
Yeah,
why not?
It's even more stressful when we run out of PTO because we both take PTO for Transworld, MHC, and even when we were traveling to Eloise and Disturbia and Basement of the Dead, we would cash in. When we were working in Chicago, we would cash in PTO every Friday and every Monday. So we would wake up Friday morning at 8 a.m., hit the road, drive to Disturbia or Basement of the Dead, wherever they needed us, come home Sunday, get home real late Sunday, and yeah,
Did you guys
sleep in
work
Monday.
Sunday?
No.
Oh, okay.
We were like kind of their Friday, Saturday, like weekend warriors, but they were open geez, I feel like they're open every day, like Wednesday through Sunday.
They shut down for Tuesdays, I believe.
Yeah. There's an ongoing joke that they would even open up for Flag Day because they just open up for everything. But I love it because it gives us the opportunity to go visit. So don't stop.
Okay, so wow, I didn't realize. I just figured. I guess you don't know until you ask. But I just figured. Oh, you guys must have just like lived there or something.
No.
So you guys have lived in Ohio.
Yeah.
This
and
whole
you
time.
drive your asses out to Chicago.
Yeah.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's dedication right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Nightmare Cleveland pops up and you're just like,
woo!
There it is. Got it.
Right on.
We weren't normal like when we worked last haunt season because we sprinkled in some Nightmare Cleveland. We didn't know much about it. We had visited Nightmare Cleveland as customers 2022, and kind of like what you were saying, you're in that immersive queue line. You're like, this is incredible. They've got their storyline on, the monitors, and you're listening to the audio. And as you go through the haunt, you're like, wow, this is extremely detailed. They're even, caulking the corners so it looks legit. And, So anyway, our haunt schedule last year, we were going to Nightmare Cleveland on Thursdays. And then we would drive back home to good old Chardon, Ohio, wake up Friday morning, drive out to Eloise, work Friday, Saturday at Eloise, drive home Sunday morning, and stop at Nightmare Cleveland on the way home. And, hey, we're going to work Sunday with you guys. And then, boom, finish off the ride. So, like, our luggage was always in the car. And we always would, when we got to Nightmare Cleveland, just unpack. And we had so many. He's got all these Pelican cases for all his makeup, the compressor, and all the bottles and everything that we travel with. My character's got this big wig, so we've got, wig stands with us. It was a lot to pack up the car every weekend.
I bet.
Pack and unpack, pack and unpack.
Chicago's not far, but it's still that's a trek.
It's like 6.5 hour drive.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and it was even to the point where when Dembski originally started talking to me about, coming on board and doing makeup, he had mentioned something along the lines of relocating. I was like, well, I'm actually from Cleveland.
Yeah.
We're just driving to Detroit. That's even better.
Yeah. Everybody's confused, where we live, because I don't know, we don't have any limits. We love traveling and seeing everybody.
Sure,
so
that's fun. It's got to be a fun element to it as well. Yeah.
My goal is to make it to Netherworld.
Yeah.
Act one night, be a customer another. That would be amazing. That's a goal. Bucket list.
The guest acting and traveling. I hate that because I see guys like you do it. We're going to do this stuff, and they go off and they do it, and I'm like, then I get my actors that are like, yeah, we're thinking about travel. Like, God damn it.
No, right. Yeah, and then they all want to do it.
Yeah, then everybody wants to travel. I'm like, it's not that great.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what.
Don't listen to them.
Yeah, I will say that it is not what people chop it up to be.
Yeah.
We are staying in just shit hotels. Eloise, we found
you saw where it was at.
We
saw the neighborhood.
Nice hotel the final weekend of the season. Like, we were staying in shit hotels.
Right.
You're in traffic all the time.
Hotels that smell like cat urine, and you're finding dirty bars of soap in your shower because the maids aren't cleaning, and just all kinds of nothing. And then I think people are under the impression that we got paid all this money, and it's like, no, we told ourselves if we travel act, as long as we don't lose money, we're good with that. But most of the time we just broke even.
It was like my paycheck would cover the hotel. And then
my paycheck.
Her paycheck we'd put in for, like gas and whatnot.
Right.
And then the rest was convention money. So MHC and Transworld. But we didn't get spoiled. People think that like, oh, they shower these guys with money and stuff for the travel. It's not true. It's not true.
A lot of the people that come here and work, like the guest act or travel actors, they volunteer it. They don't even but we offer the pay. It's like, we'll pay you.
Yeah.
No, I'm just here. And I'm just like, okay. One guy during the Christmas show, this was actually kind of funny. You guys brrying about this one. I got called down to the bullpen down there, and I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, dude, there's some guy out there. We don't even know who he is. I was like, what? There's a guy acting. We don't know him. I'm like, all right. So I walk out because we had like this little scene set out there, and I walked out and I walked up to this guy and he did his thing, and I go, hey. And he's like, looked at me, I go, who are you? And he was like, oh, and the music's really loud, and he's like trying to talk to me. I'm like, come on, man, come on.
Yeah.
So I bring him in there, and he's just like, yeah, man, I just rolled in, thought I'd volunteer for the night, and I was just, got upstairs, and they just sent me down here, and I was just like,
that's wild.
what the hell's going on here? Just roll in and just start acting.
Yeah,
But it turned out he had guest acted before with a group of people, and he just thought, I'll just go to Blood Prison and act their Christmas show.
Right.
And just show up and see if they need help.
That's
awesome.
awesome.
By the time he got there, we were already like getting out on the floor and getting things moving. So they're just like, someone upstairs just thought he was supposed to be here. Oh yeah, just go to the bullpen. Act down there. He's like, all right. So he goes down there and he was all dressed up in like this. It was, I want to say like Cousin Eddie from the Christmas.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And we're just
Shutter's
like,
full.
Yeah, we're like, what is happening out here? You know, it was funny because I'd never had that happen before.
I was gonna say haunters joke about that all the time. That somebody can just show up in a mask and then you'll never know, and you actually had it happen. That's wild.
Or a guest walks around in a costume.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And now they think they're a part of it.
Yeah, they're a part of it. It's just like, bro, what are you doing here? Go home.
Yep.
You know. But yeah, it's fun. So like, are you guys like? So you're ingrained at Nightmare Cleveland. You guys not traveling this year at all?
No.
All right.
Nope.
No.
Cool.
If
we're home.
I would say the only real travel we're doing this year is we're going out to Niles, Scream Park for the MHC bus tour.
That's right. That's cool.
Yeah, we'll be I love Niles. Niles Scream Park. They're a special haunt. They'll always have a place in my heart.
Yeah.
Love them. Yeah.
A bunch of those guys came here. This is probably like 5 or 6 years ago. Not during Halloween. It was just during regular tour season. And I don't know. They called me because they were like, yeah, we're from a haunted house, Niles Scream Park. And so they called me up and I was just like, what's going on? I walk up and start talking to them. They're like, we just wanted a tour. And I was like, okay, sweet. So I like kind of gave them a tour.
Yeah.
And they were in heaven because I took them up to like behind the scenes areas in the cell blocks.
Right.
And they would like hide. And there was this one lady that was with them. I can't remember any
Probably
of their
Roberta.
and like they would just jump out of
Yes.
She would scream,
Yeah.
stop. And she would and there was this one dude just kept doing it over and over again.
Yes.
And then like they sent us shirts. Like
they're
in the mail,
amazing.
They like shipped us like Niles Scream Park shirts. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're but I've never been to the attraction.
They did an event last year that we attended for Haunters Against Hate. It was the haunt takeover for Haunters Against Hate.
Yeah.
And basically all of us actors, there was a squad. We're the Avengers, in my opinion. Fluffy and Sharky and Split, you and me, and Carly was there. I'm trying to think of everybody. I'm trying to give you guys all shout outs.
Japes.
Yes, Japes was our ringleader.
Okay.
And they told us all like, hey guys, if you're willing to volunteer, come on out. So they had us out, and none of us had met Ross before. And he's kind of like their cast manager, operations manager. But we all spent the night at Hotel Ross. So they took care of us. They had lodging and food, steak and eggs for breakfast.
Wow.
We got to teach their staff. They got to teach us. It was amazing. I mean,
pretty cool.
just talk about the haunt community coming together, because people from Chicago, Ohio, Michigan, all of us just flocked there for that weekend and, got to know each other and shared laughs and screams together. It was a great time.
Yeah, it was a great time.
They're doing it again this year too. So, I can't wait. That's the one thing I think we both agree that as long as they'll do that event, we'll attend it.
That's
if
cool,
we can.
Oh yeah. More shit like that's got to happen, I think, because there's just some places that just kind of keep to themselves and they're they're their own kind of deal. That's cool. But I just like I think you can learn from, so many other people and you can help, because it's like I rolled into a good situation more than anything with this place, because like the building kind of, people want to come here because of this building, and it's a cool place, so it helps. I mean, you still gotta, you gotta market it right and everything, but the local guys around town, when I first got here, I reached out to the guy in Ontario. His name's Ed, cool guy, has a trail over there. It's really, pretty good haunt. And I was like, hey man, I'm the new guy at the prison. Would love to work with you if you want to do. And he was kind of surprised a little bit, because the guy that was here before me was, not as friendly.
A little standoff.
Yeah, and didn't want anything to do with anybody else, and didn't want guest actors here. Like he was real,
Right.
But I'm not like that. You know what I mean? So he was. We created this relationship, and that's just kind of what I've tried to do. With everybody. Like that's kind of why I do what I'm doing now. Is it's like, let's just talk.
Right?
And see what you can bounce off me, what I can bounce off you, and kind of go from there.
Yeah, I feel it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. One of the things I really liked that I saw up in Michigan last year was they do haunt swap nights on Sundays, where they'll figure out before the season starts, and I can't remember how many were a part of it. I'd say 7. Where
at least a half a dozen of them.
Yeah, where this haunt would open on Sunday, and the other 6 haunts could come through for free, like their whole staff. And then it would just rotate it every Sunday. It was like, these guys are going to be open. Now these guys are going to be open. I was like, that's a really cool idea for these guys to see other haunts. And, you know.
The actors were learning from each other. They were walking through, learning different techniques, startle scares and pop-outs, dialogue. I love that. The Michigan haunt community is doing that right with the haunt swaps.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I know Dent Schoolhouse in Cincinnati did something like that. They did like a
Haunters Night.
Haunters Night, yeah. Where you could go down. There's a certain night. It's a Thursday or Sunday. I think I don't know. It's one of those, and you can, if you're in a haunt, or they open it just for haunts. Maybe I don't know. Because like Maximus always like lets me know, hey, we're doing this.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, that's like 2.5 hour, 3 hour drive for me, and we're in the middle of the build, so I never get to go down for it.
All you have to do is wear your haunt swag.
Yeah.
And you get like 50% off. I don't know if it's exactly 50% off. Don't quote me, but it was a significant discount to where it's like, I mean, we drive from Cleveland to go to that, and it's like, it's worth it. And to see Dent. It's such a good one.
I heard the Midway is amazing.
Incredible.
Yeah. I was kind of bummed because they had like a slaughterhouse themed house there before, and I never got to go through that. And then when I heard they knocked that down for the Midway, I was like, oh man, I never got to see it. But then when I saw the Midway, I'm like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible.
Well, it goes with talking about not getting to go to haunts because we're working haunts.
Right.
So like the Akron Haunted Schoolhouse, for instance, I've been to that 3 times. I've never been to the laboratory.
Right.
I've only seen the schoolhouse.
Yeah,
I've never
the
seen
schoolhouse, the only one open for off-season.
Because the off-season, they don't run that. And I'm just like, you guys got to do this.
Right.
It's about time. Yeah.
Swap
so I've never
one
actually
night.
seen it. Yeah, right? Just do it.
Yeah, that would be, that's an idea.
Maybe they'll do it. We've got to talk to John.
Shake it up a little bit,
Dave, swap the building.
Oh, Dave. Well, listen, guys. I appreciate you guys coming down here.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
I hope everything goes well at Nightmare Cleveland for you guys this season. I'll definitely be up, and you guys are more than welcome to come down. We're only open Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays, so it's always kind of hard. But I will be up there for the laser tag. I will make plans on that.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't realize that was happening again.
Oh, yeah.
June 28th and 29th, Nightmare Cleveland.
Yeah?
Laser tag.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And Nightmare Cleveland is located in Cleveland on Brook Park Road?
Brook Park Road.
Yeah.
Yeah, right by B.A. Sweeties.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're in the old B.A. Sweeties building.
Yeah, the original one.
Yes.
Right.
It picked up and moved right down the road from us.
That's cool. Well, I wish you guys the best, man. And I you know, again, working with Vaughn and Gavin and Brian and Drake up there, you guys are gonna be successful. I see it. You know, the haunt is amazing. Mm-hmm. And just keep going. You know what I mean? And if there's anything you guys ever want to do, you want to come down and work ink, let me know.
Absolutely.
It's a fun weekend. We basically work. It's a volunteer situation, but you get in the show for free, and we run like noon to 5. And so then after 5, you just get out of costume and makeup, and then you can work the show.
Right.
Or, you know, go get a tattoo if you want to. Or,
Heck yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? Or go watch the bands.
Yeah, for sure.
So
you guys always get a killer lineup for those.
Yeah. And it's dude, I've already heard some names for next year.
Oh yeah.
You know, there's always like a rumor mill just constantly floating. I'm like, oh, your name's already. That's kind of cool. But we'd love to have you, and it's always a pleasure seeing you guys. And we'll get up to Nightmare Cleveland for sure in the off season and during the season probably. But thanks for coming down.
Oh, thanks for having us.
We'll definitely have to do it again.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, please. Yeah.
All right, guys, take care and be safe.